Hello, everybody. Sorry about that. Excuse me. I hope there's somebody here. Our guest just wheeled in on two wheels and now she's getting changed. So she'll be here with us in a second. Try to deal with some traffic. So, okay, I made the hat today. Can you guys see it? I rock it up here. Wait, okay, yeah, up here. And the shirt. Okay, here's the back. Can you see it? I know. Can you see the shirt? And here's the shoes. Can you see it? Can you guys see it? So you'll have to let me know what you think about that. What you all think about the little get up that we're gonna have a drawing for at 1,000 subs, which hopefully does happen. I don't know if it will or not. So how is everybody doing tonight? Are we ready for our special guest? You like it? Top hats, you think so? I got up at 4 o'clock this morning to do this, so I could do it before the baby got here. I'm not real happy with the front of the shirt, but it's the vinyl. But I still am happy with it altogether, I think. Yeah, that's cool. I hope everybody likes it. You know, of course, I don't worry as much when I know it's for me. I don't pay that much. If it's for someone else, I measure things out. For me, I just eyeball it and shit. So how's everybody doing tonight? Are we all still happy? And you know what's so funny to me is hearing about how Billy Joe said that she took her in there, and they flat asked, did she, turn herself in or what? And they said no, she was arrested. That's what they said in the press conference. But not only that, Billy Joe says it's because she wasn't going to let her come home. But I don't think that's the way it works to get arrested. I don't think you can call the FBI and say, you know what, she's not allowed to come home. So awful convenient that it's right whenever they found out that whenever they found out that they had the body, that they had discovered the body. So ready to hear a good story. Right. That's what we need. I mean, last night was good, but also very, it was emotional. And really, when you think about it, it was rather quick. I mean, these things don't happen. Hello, Texas Life. Good to see you. This actually was pretty quick. For considering a lot of times it's not this quick. So, I can't say that I'm upset with the law enforcement at all, frankly. And to know that they're ready, or, that they have what they need to seal a conviction. I mean, I think that's pretty good myself. Myself, I never have been angry with law enforcement there. As a matter of fact, I remember the very first day that he was missing, they had horse patrol out there. They actually were on it very quickly. So, it's still really hard. It's a hard thing to deal with. It's sad. It's horribly sad. But right now, I mean, for me, I was so worried that we would never recover a body, and worried she might get away with it. And now I do feel good about that. Although it's not a good thing, I do feel good about that. So exactly right. We do. Sometimes they drag on forever. This honestly was very quick. In my opinion, it was quite quick. And, that had to be very hard for those guys in that landfill. That is not, only once every 5 years do I go with Mr. Snotty to dump something off at the dump. And, yeah, it's super gross. I don't really want to go at all. I can't imagine spending 8 hours a day there. And particularly what you actually want to find is something horrific. Yeah, that's a lot. Exactly right. I mean, I was not trying to be, negative Nancy about the whole thing, but honestly, it's not that often that they do find that they can recover them from the landfill. It just doesn't happen that way. So I'm very happy about it. No, I think you're absolutely right, Top Hats. That's exactly how I feel. And hitting home makes me feel really like we need to have more talks. Yeah, I think there's a whole lot more there that we don't know about. Well, obviously there is. There always is. That's just it. So we're going to have to do that too. But yes, I feel the exact same way. It's horrible to say, "Oh, I'm so happy," but I am. I am happy about it. Okay, so now we have. Wait, let me see. I know everything's a little bit backwards, so it's hard to. Okay, everybody. So whoever didn't see my whole get up here, got my shoes, got the whole thing on.
Not today. Wednesday. It's not today.
Satan.
Mm-hmm. Why does it say that?
Well, we had a discussion.
Is that what they decided? Oh
Yeah.
I remember the discussion.
Yes,
I didn't know what we
'cause
decided on.
we don't have time for Satan, not today.
Not today.
It's not.
It's not.
It's not.
We have time for snot. Every day. Sister Snotty here.
Yep, this is
Snotty sister.
This is my sister. And she's in the chat sometimes. You guys see her. She was on panel the other night with her Goodwill finds. That's what she's very, very good at. She's good at a lot of things, but she's really good at finding Goodwill deals. And I mean, I'm not making fun. She absolutely is. But it's because she goes a lot. Oh, here, we got to get rid of this crap. Now we got 6 people in here. We don't need that.
Is that for your trip to Las Vegas? Maybe
No, they always do it. Yeah. So Texas Life said hello to you.
Hi, Texas Life.
So did
Hi,
Mr.
everyone.
Snotty.
Hi, brother.
So what was I saying now? I can't even remember.
So I'm good at a lot of things.
Oh yeah. She's good at a lot of things. But she's really good at the fact that she will, I could probably find good shit at Goodwill, but I just can't go but like once a year. I just can't. I can't force myself to do it. So
it's the thrill.
Right.
Of the good
So
times.
she, she's willing to go to several every single day.
I did slow
Not-
down for
not
a
this
few
girl
months,
right
but
here.
I'm back at it.
Yeah, I really can't go there. But anyway, so that's what her specialty is, amongst other things. But she was on the other night. That's why I thought I'd throw that in. We would get along. I love dabbling in the storage unit. Oh, really? Hit me up on the good. Okay, see, yeah. She tries to hit me up. I'm like, I can't be buying all the stuff that you find. Although I like it.
I'm not near as bad as our cousin Lisa. She gets some good stuff, but she's there all the time.
Yeah, I think they both need to just go in and start filming themselves, because honestly, I've been with them there. It's very comical. It's very comical. The way they work this place, and they know what days this happens and that happens, and I'm just like, whatever.
She slows us down though.
Yeah. I don't help anybody out in this situation at all. So yeah, she definitely needs to start filming this, because it's a show for sure. It's just not one that I can be part of.
I thought about it, but they're always playing really good music in the background. I can't ask them to turn it off. I could at probably the one in Queen Creek, but because they love me, I took them pizza before for the whole crew.
Oh, he says, do you Google a photo of items and see if it's worth anything beforehand?
No, because actually, and I just buy things that I like. They're not for sale. Sometimes after I get too many, and they start piling up, I will sell some or give some away. But that's the thing, is I only get the stuff I like, and I don't care the value. It's just what I like. Like, I got a really awesome lamp and a really cool shower curtain the other day. Lisa got a Coleman portable spa, still in the box, a couple days ago.
Yeah, for $35.
Yeah.
And they're about $400.
She was jealous of my shower curtain, so she said she had to find something good. She really liked my shower curtain. But anyway, so I'm Jackie's sister, who is 6 years older. Jackie says I'm 7 years. Wait, am I 7 years older? Yes.
It's 6.5.
Yes.
So
You asked.
yeah. So okay. I see what you're doing. Okay. Yeah, Mr. Snotty's got to get in the middle.
I was the baby until I was 6 out of the 5, and then came Jackie. So, yeah.
No, I think that it needs to be a business for her. This is what I'm saying. She will say, "Oh, do you want to buy this?" And I'm like, "Well, I get, no." Just because something's a good deal doesn't necessarily mean I want it or need it. See, that's where I'm at. She's really good about having a good deal and making sure she needs it and wants it. I'm not so much that way. She gets some great shit. Not gonna lie. I mean, I'm just not. But
I do. Decorate my whole house with it.
I think people could really, I mean, I just do. I have zero desire to go.
I find things that, if you went looking for them at a store, you couldn't find them.
Right, but if you're not actually looking for it,
Oh no, yeah, I don't go there
then
really looking for something.
right, that's the whole thing. Like,
And if I find it, it's not always going to be in my size. They don't have a rack in that one thing, a rack full of them.
oh, by the way, don't worry about that. You know, I did notice that you called me that, and actually, I'm okay because you know what? You can actually call me anything you want to. And I will say once again, thank you so much for coming up. That was really awesome. I enjoyed that very much, and I would love to pick your brain even more. I thought it was great. So thank you very much for coming up. And so, what I will tell you, you guys know exactly how I feel. Most of you do. That's right. Don't do it. um, you guys know how I feel about CPS. You know, this is an ongoing situation that we have, and it is something that I need to be on top of personally in Savannah because, you know, I'm hearing stories about how Billy Joe thinks that she's going to get those other children. And I'm really sorry, but you have raised two killers and you left that baby in harm's way. That's not okay. Besides the generations of fucked up shit that has gone on there, unacceptable shit that has gone on there. I cannot let that happen, but we also cannot let we have to make sure that they stay on top of where they're at. We don't know if they're at some kitty fiddlers where we don't have any damn idea where they're at.
And you'll never know everything.
No, we won't.
So you're going to be,
and
worse.
That's fine.
It's worse usually.
But they need to stay on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when those Turpin kids were finally taken out of the house.
Oh my goodness.
Right. Exactly. Unacceptable. That's not okay. We cannot have shit like this happening.
Well, the thing is that you don't hear about the things that they've stopped because they've been stopped.
That's exactly right. And how great would it be if we never knew Quentin Simon existed or Gabriel Fernandez? That would be awesome. And maybe it wouldn't be. I don't know. Because you know what? What have we said? Quentin saved his siblings, possibly. We need to make sure he did.
Michelle.
Hey, buddy. It's very possible he saved them. The opportunity's there for him to have done that. Same with Summer Wells. But for it to become so tragic, for that to happen, and I get it. You know what? Okay, I'm not even asking for them to be right all the time or even a little bit, you know?
But there's no way to ever know how many they've stopped.
Because no, you're right.
Stopped.
We don't really, know.
And there's no way for them to know. I mean, actually,
we don't know how many times God has stopped a mass shooting. We don't know. We don't know how many times he stopped a plane crash. We don't get to know. And so these are just, I get it. I do get it. But this is something that we have got to have more accountability for. There has to be accountability when you are told, you are alerted to a problem and you ignore it, because that does happen.
I mean, did they visit the home and do we know if they made a visit to the home? I'm sure they had
Gabriel Fernandez, many.
Oh, yes. And the teacher, everybody called.
The teacher was going to kidnap him.
The cop was there and had him in the back seat and told him that
the cop gave him a tongue lashing for
lying. Mm-hmm.
And the kid went around with huge plugs out of his hair. I mean, he was balding everywhere.
Burn marks, yeah.
It was horrific. Okay. These are things that we can't have all the time. And if they do their job, okay, that's maybe wrong. I don't doubt that their hands are tied in lots of situations. I don't doubt there's lots of bureaucracy because it's a government situation. We all know that's bullshit.
And then there's some people
their cases, they're overloaded with cases. There's a lot of different. I get that, and I really do understand that, and I'm not trying to not It's their babies, their kids. They are defenseless. They can't help themselves.
Well,
You know what? Go ahead and ignore somebody trying to punch me, trying to starve me, trying to do whatever the hell they want to me. Ignore that shit all day long, because I can take care of myself. A child can't take care of themselves. And when the one place that you are supposed to, like we talked about last night, how many times as a child you're like, I just want to go home. I just want to go home. I don't care if that home is a piece of shit. If it's a box behind Kmart, it's home. I need to go home. I feel good at home. And when a child doesn't, that's not okay. It is not okay. You can be strict. You can have limitations. You cannot have whatever toy you want. You cannot have all the things that you necessarily want to have. But when you do not feel safe and secure at home, that's a problem. And it's a problem we cannot keep allowing to have. Not in my opinion. I can't stand shit like this. I cannot stand it. That kid was out by himself on the road all the time. Everybody saw him.
Well, the grandmother, she lost custody. So clearly they were involved. She had lost custody, right? Or Billy Joe had custody.
Wouldn't it be great, right? Let's talk about it. See, we don't though. There's no accountability. And even with, Gabriel Fernandez, what we found was first time ever they were charged. And let me tell you, they were pissed off. Of course they were, because they don't want to have accountability. And
a boyfriend.
And and I'm going to tell you, I really wish I could remember. There is a program that we watched about a town in Washington State, very near the Canada border. That is horrific. Horrible situation. That was CPS run amok. They took everybody's kids and ruined everybody's life. So, some people are going to abuse their power. Apparently, over there they did.
A couple went to prison. The parents even.
Oh hell yeah! For years.
Yeah.
For years. No, ruined these kids' lives. Ruined everybody's lives. Yeah. And they were just full of shit, is what they were. It was some kind of a cock of the walk, got a badge, and here he goes. And that's just a fact. That is a fact.
Yes.
100% what happened. And it's ridiculous. You had CPS that finally told their family, go across the border and live in Canada, because anybody who tries to stand up for this ends up with their kids taken and them in jail. This is a true story, people.
Yeah, the whole
30 some kids taken from their families. It was horrible. So in that case, he just took them because he damn well felt like it. I mean, that's really the only way you could see it. Horrible, horrible story. But then you have people who they just are like, well, that little boy's, not behaving himself. Okay, whenever you see bald spots all over the head, what's going on? Is cancer? What the hell's going on here?
Well, they should listen to everybody that calls in, especially
But the fact that you don't listen to a teacher who says, I can't take this anymore. This kid cannot go home today. I am ready to go to prison. I would kidnap him today if there was any way I could literally get by with it, and he wouldn't end up back home. Okay, this is what you're talking about, and them not doing anything. So this is something that frustrates me very much. It hurts me. It hurts my heart. But we all know about that. And like I told you guys when I was in Savannah, look at this house. What went on behind those walls? Well, what went on there was a child ending up in a landfill. And that is sick. It's disgusting. Don't have them. Give them up. Do whatever you got to do. Somebody needs to stand up for these kids, because nobody is standing up for these kids. Oh, we're going to give them to grandma who is who? Who has raised 2 killers? Who has a rap sheet as long as this damn room? Seriously? Oh, that's awesome. Good idea. Great idea.
Yeah, they did an intense background
No.
check on Ed.
Absolute bullshit. Absolute bullshit. But I'll get off my soapbox here real quick. So, you met my sister. Her name is Susan, and she actually has a story that says that CPS can do good if they do their job and things work out. So, I'm just going to turn it over to her and let her tell her story.
Well, you have to want to do good, because they that's what it was. I mean, the accountability, the UAs, the meetings, the we're
Okay,
gonna do
but
this, and if you don't do this, then we'll do this, and mean it. You know what I'm saying?
okay, but did they not take your child?
Yes.
Yes, they did.
They took my child.
Okay, see, that's the thing. This is what I'm saying.
Yes. They
Now,
had,
in that situation, yes, you said no. I can't have that.
right.
But and there's other people who aren't going to do that, and that's fine. But take the child.
Yes,
Take
they,
him.
yeah, they did take him. Well,
Right.
and they did. Well, they gave him to a family member, but they did an intense background check on him, and he didn't get him for a couple days. You know, he got his other family that he still talks about like he knew him for long. He was 4, but um, his brother that went to karate was in karate school. He talks about. He remembers. So yeah, but however, they did show up one day, and I lived with my husband and his brothers and sisters and my mother-in-law. Nice house, big house, and it was a home, but someone had called them, and they talked to my son, was 4. He just barely turned 4, might have been just 3 still, and they left, and nothing came of it. They came back a few months later, and they took him when he was 4. And they had a call, and yeah, that's what happened. And that was on July 17th, 1975.
Not 7.
No, sorry.
I'm like, hold on.
2007. What am I thinking? 2007. Wasn't it 2007? Whatever, 15 years ago. Yeah, 2007.
I don't know.
And so that was what did it for me. But see, it's also the drugs. So I've been a drug user for many years. And you know, there was several times I should have quit, and I always wanted to quit. I never did like that life. I just like doing the drugs, I guess, because I'm an addict. I'm always going to be an addict, but that's what they tell me anyway. I don't think I am anymore. However, it's the timing. CPS took them. They said you can't have them back until you're clean. And I was like, how many days? How long do I got to be clean? How long? Everybody was like, oh, it takes at least a year. Oh, I could not even think of a year. I did get them back after 9 months, quicker than anybody in Tucson had gotten their kid back, because I did everything they told me to do, and I asked for more. All the parenting classes I could do, you know, the UAs. I would go to the UA place. It's funny because I went in there the first time, and I met other people that are having to do UAs because of their kids. And I'm like, was cried for the first month. And I'm crying. I was like, how long has your kid been gone? When are you going to get him back? And this guy said, he's been gone over a year, and I do everything they say, except for sometimes I miss my UA. And I'm like, well, then you're not doing everything they say.
Right.
So, yeah. And so actually it helped me. They took him on the 17th of July. I still had some drugs left. So I quit on the 19th of July and never touched him again. Because it's when you see strangers take your kid out of your home, it hurts. It hurts when he's 4.
It's an impact. It's an impact that you feel. It's something that, and what she's not saying. So
Yeah, I said it kind of fast.
How many years? Right, you kind of.
I know, because I'm nervous.
Right, but you, how many years did you? 35 years.
Well, you know, from the time I started smoking pot and acid, it was in my probably 13 years old, and then I drank a lot. Then I started with the coke, and then the meth, and then, you know, using syringes, and just married my drug dealer at the prison. I mean, I had just really glamorous life. Lost my sisters.
She got pregnant. Or, no, she got married at the prison, so I wasn't trying to go because. Most
So
weddings I go to, I just get an invitation. I don't have to do a background check or anything like that, file any paperwork. So I said, I didn't live here anyway, but anyhow.
the thing is, I had two. So there's plenty of times I wanted to quit, and it's it's the timing. I have an older son that I didn't quit with him, and when he was 12, he went to live with my brother, and I know that sometimes that affects him. He wonders, why didn't you quit with me? And again, it's timing.
He didn't get taken.
And that's the thing is he went to my brother's, which was actually good. He didn't have a man figure in his life. I mean, he had his uncles, but living with my brother was very good for him. But this time, when the strangers and the police show up, they have to call the police because they're concerned that it could get ugly. But when I went to court the first time, they did say that because it was July 17th in Arizona, it was pretty hot. So once they took me outside to tell me they were going to take him, and they were waiting for the police to come. And even though I was crying and hot, I was like, well, you might as well come inside. It's too hot out here until the police get here. And that stood out. They said that, that I was nice about it. They weren't scared for their lives.
You weren't acting like a retard.
I'm just crying, like a big baby.
And that's what happens. So
then he went to my brother-in-law's.
It's been over 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I can just tell you that I had already given up on being able to have a relationship with her. I decided, and I always said, because lots of times she was in rehab, because of this or because of that. She had great jobs. She's very smart. She had great jobs, but she didn't keep them because of drugs. And even she had jobs that would send her to drug rehab, which I thought was kind of crazy, but she couldn't even fulfill that. Many times I heard about rehab. So in this situation, I said, clearly I pray for you every day. I want you to be better. And I hope you really are, but I just I can't be part of it because I don't trust it, number one. And so she was clean several years before I even trusted her.
Yeah.
Because I was like, okay, well, that's awesome, but we'll see. Because every time I saw her, once every couple of years.
At Christmas, usually. She
just wanted to see if I could buy a money order or some horseshit weird thing that I was like, no, I don't really want to be part of anything like that. I don't even know what that means.
But the thing is I mean, drugs could certainly have sent me to prison and given me a felony. But I still had being brought up the way I was and having, conviction because I was raised at a Christian in a Christian home. And so I'm grateful for conviction because I did feel like crap. So certainly the drug use could have sent me to prison. However, I have managed to not have one felony still to this day. Yeah. And that because I knew what I was doing was wrong. So I did, but I was addicted. And I didn't get involved in all the other stuff that people do. Of course, I was around it. And if the police came at certain places I was at, I would have been in trouble. But I never stole anything. Like she said, I worked. I had good jobs. Really good jobs, and I usually lost them all because of attendance, because I was out of dope and couldn't make it in.
Right.
And that's what happened there.
Right. She's very smart.
Not so much anymore smart. It's destroyed some brain cells, but I'm just not what I mean, I'm smart about everything I knew. I just haven't learned a lot more.
Well, and the really wonderful thing is that, for sure, I like to be very clear that, her and I had been so close for so long, and then we lost that. And so it's awesome that I can have my sister back. But not only that, the mother that she has become to the one that was taken, and to her older son, and the life and the grandkids and everything else. It's a beautiful thing for her to be a granny, and for there was a time I know that her son would never have let his kids spend the night with her.
And I did. I wasn't okay. Let's be clear.
I know.
Yes,
only
I
beca-
wasn't
only because of drugs. You
right.
weren't no, you weren't
I-
a low life. You weren't a thief.
I always
No, I
made
get-
sure we lived in decent places, and sometimes it was
Right.
hard. When I finally couldn't with my oldest son, that's when I had to call my brother. We were just living in the car. But that, I mean, I know people that had uglier situations, but and it was so hard working and trying to keep up with the drugs and give my kid, he was spoiled. I gave him anything he wanted because of my guilt, feeling bad.
Oh, her kids are spoiled rotten, always have been. So believe me,
but they weren't getting they were, my oldest son had been to 12 different schools by the time he was in 7th grade. And we never left Arizona. And that's when he went to go live with my brother, and he was in one school till he graduated.
from then on, right?
Yes.
And he was always a big part of my life too. We all, he's still like my child as well.
Jackie and I were very close. We always were close. And then and she, you have your family for a long time, even with the drug use, and they because they want you to get clean and stuff. And then let me tell you, with my family, it just stopped. Not with just Jackie, but my oldest sister, my brother. We didn't spend a lot of time together anyway. He's older and he's a cop. But when your family doesn't want to be around, when they don't even like you, that bothers you. And there were several times I wanted to get clean. Of course, lots of times I don't know anybody. I mean, I don't think I know anybody that wants to have that life. But it's crazy. The night before they showed up at my house, I was driving home from the casino, and lots of times I'd prayed about it. But this is a true story. I had just lost all this money at the casino and for my taxes, and I had some dope at home, so I was okay with that. But I was crying and I was praying. I was like, I'm 45 years old, God. You know what? Something's got to change. I can't continue to live like this. There's no future. And what can happen? And I'm telling you what can happen. CPS showed up at my door the next day, and that is a true story. And that's what my aunt said too. You know what? God knew the tool that would work. Mm-hmm. And so, it wasn't fun, but I will tell you this, that I never was mad at CPS for doing their job. I was the best. I was the best case they ever had, because you have to meet once a month with all these different groups. Okay. And my husband had an attorney. My son had an attorney. I had an attorney. They assign them to you. Everybody gets an attorney, and the state has an attorney. And you meet with all these people, all these different organizations once a month, usually at some places. Not. I mean, they're government funded, or some of them are even just donations. Some different organization for families, and you go, and it's just a meeting, and everybody makes a plan for you. But I would just say, let's have the meeting at my brother-in-law's house, and I would serve a buffet, or if it was in the morning, I'd make a coffee bar with every kind of drink, every kind of creamers. And once it was like mini chimneys and mini burritos, they like that. But actually at Christmas time, we go to court once a month to go over your progress. And at Christmas time, I took these ornaments that had lifesavers in them, and I asked the judge if I could pass them out. And I gave the judge and all the attorneys and the caseworkers, all of them, a pack of lifesavers, and told them, thank you for saving my life.
Oh, wow. Really? Mm-hmm. I never heard that.
Yep. It was a pack of lifesavers and an ornament. Yep. Well, and then anyway.
You did save your life, because I used to think to myself, there were times when you would I would hear that you were arrested or something, and then
I only went to jail once, and it was for not paying tickets.
Well, I was going to say, whatever it was for, I would say, I hope she goes to jail, because that might save her life. Because there was only 2 ways out of her situation, in my opinion. She was either going to die or go to prison, because you cannot just keep on that path. It's not sustainable. Mm-hmm. And as far as her being a mother or a sister or anything, I had given up on that. And that wasn't important to me anymore. I just didn't. I hoped she wouldn't die. I really hoped that. That's where I was at.
And I didn't go rub it in their nose anymore. When I met my husband, and he had his family, they were all on drugs, except for their older brother that owned a business, and he made sure we were always taken care of. And so I just kind of went to his family and left my family, didn't come around my family, which they didn't want it anyway. Um, yeah, because they never thought. But I'll tell you, when I was 45, I quit, and I'm finally who I was supposed to be. You know, I
Right.
was did drugs for more than half my life, and now I'm who I was supposed to be. And I bought my first house 8 years
Yes.
ago.
She did. Yeah, she didn't just get off drugs. She got her shit together big time. She really did. She had poor credit when she went through this. She didn't have a big support system because people just didn't believe it. We had pretty much, I know for sure I didn't believe it anymore. And I hoped it was real, but I had long since given up on that. So not only did she have to really start from below bottom. She wasn't starting from bottom because she had already dug a hole for herself. So to get out of that, build up her credit, and start building,
And not have anything seriously wrong with me health wise.
and right, and not only that, she also had already been diagnosed with hepatitis C many years
Gone.
prior to that, and it's gone. I mean, it's a total miracle for sure. Reality is, because I didn't think that there was even a cure for that. But and not only what
They just say it's in remission, but it doesn't show up.
They say
in my
it's
blood
not.
work.
There's no cure for it. But she didn't even take this stuff. She didn't even take the medicine because
No, I do take. Well, what happened?
a couple of times, but you can't
What
take it
happened?
with drugs, so she had to go ahead and make that decision.
What happened is they did tell me you couldn't be on drugs, which that's not true. When I did interferon in 1998, I had to give myself a shot in the stomach 3 times a week, and they sent me the medicine and a box of syringes. Well, guess what?
You had better things to put in those syringes.
And you could trade them.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't know that. I never even, well,
your
okay.
dealer, I mean, because they don't. I had a whole bunch of syringes.
I was a popular guy on the block right now because I had the hookup on syringes. Well, that's good to know. Maybe someday I'll need that.
Yeah. And so, and at first I did not do the drugs while I was using it. And I think that might have lasted a couple hours, but I was going to have to try it. And I did both. And then when I got checked, they said that my enzyme levels, and every time I tell the doctor that I had it and they check and there's no evidence of it. However.
Yeah, you're right.
What do you say?
That's money in that life. Yeah. That's I never even, this is new to me, this part.
Yeah, well, that was in 98, and you really weren't talking to me then. And I mean, I get the courtesy smile at Christmas, well, with the glare. She's here, but it was mostly because of the kids. And Paulie, he was 4. He doesn't know anything about the drug life. He told me he's going to his. So anyway, that was what I was going to say. My husband lasted. We couldn't, when they did a background, we lived at his mother's with his brothers and sisters in a 6-bedroom, nice house that the brother that owned the business, and they all worked for him, made sure we had a nice place. And my youngest son was so spoiled by him. They did a background check, and one of the things we had to do was move out of that house because every one of his brothers and sisters had been to prison for drugs. So we moved out, and my husband did really good for the first year. They took Paulie in July, and his brother, they got custody of him. So we got to see him. We still have to schedule those visits, and they take chunks out of his hair too to test him. It's crazy. So, but anyway, we had to get our own place, and my husband lasted a year, and I could tell he was using just because in the beginning, because he just wasn't doing as many family things. Everything we did, we're going to take separate cars, and that just started reminding me of the old habits. And then it was pretty obvious. And for 3 years, though, I told him I was going to leave if he didn't stop. And it took 3 years. I stayed 3 years after we got into our home, our trailer out in Marana. And then finally I did leave. And that wasn't easy. And he, my son tells me that he's going to spend Thanksgiving with his dad's family this year because they're not going to be around very much longer because they're on drugs. And he's like, Mom, you're going to be around a lot longer because you're not on drugs. So that's not necessarily true that I'm going to be around longer. My oldest son said that meth heads don't die. They take all that poison and they just keep going.
Well, yeah, you never know. I mean, many times, like I said, I can't believe she hasn't killed herself already. I really can't. Besides the fact she drove around, she would be, and I am not even lying for a second. She would be smoking crack or whatever, and doing a crossword puzzle while she drove down the road in the middle of the damn night. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going anywhere with you. She's like, no, it's fine. I'm like, no, it's actually not fine. I don't know how you're living. I mean, because she was so hooked on crossword puzzles, she would not stop just while she drove. She wouldn't stop. And she was like, what's a 4-letter word? And I'm like, are you kidding me? Shut up. Don't even say that to me again. Like, you're insane.
You take different things. Yeah.
Yeah, she would do crazy shit. I couldn't believe she was alive. When you know, when they are not. Oh, I don't
understand that.
Yeah, I can't
Says
see.
when you know, when they are not, no matter what they may say.
No, it's it exactly when you get the fact. Oh, good God, yes.
Well, I was always on the go. I was always scoring for people, but actually, and I started long before I met my husband. That's true. I didn't even meet him till I was 34. So, I mean, you can't blame that on him. I was probably worse than him when I met him. But I did, with him being a dealer, I did get to slow down on not doing the running. It was just there.
Oh, yeah. No, I know. And this is why whenever I tell you guys that there were crackheads at Billy Joe's, I know exactly what I'm talking about. Because this one drove me, she was always out, all this stuff. And I was like, just stop. Just stop doing all that stuff. Like,
When you know.
I can tell when somebody is all cracked out or whatever. I whatever the actual thing is, I don't know. But yeah, I don't know if they were doing like crack cocaine or you know what I mean. I'm not trying to say exactly what they're doing, but I can tell those mannerisms. And that girl was fighting with herself, literally fighting with herself. This one talked to herself and sorry, I didn't mean to do this and just on and on and on. And I was like, okay, everything's fine if you just stop what you're doing right now. Just stop. And this is why I say I can see it now. She actually sees it. It cracks me up. We'll be in the grocery store and I'm like, look, there is a total crackhead over there. And she's like, oh my God, they irritate me so bad. And I'm like, thank God.
Well, some of them are just billboards. Some are worse than others. Like those people in Georgia. That was clearly a crackhead. I never acted like that.
Right. That was horrible.
When I went to jail on Easter, they said for not paying a ticket.
Went to jail on Easter. Wow.
Everybody there was like, you don't even look like you belong in here. I was like,
I dressed up for church.
Yeah, I had on a jumpsuit and everything that day. It was in 2002, and I fell asleep in the car in a parking lot by a dope house. And I woke up to the cops beating on the window, and I had those tickets I hadn't paid, and they took me to jail. And I'm in there in a jumpsuit and still had all my teeth, everything. And they were like, "You look like you don't belong here." And I said, "I don't. I know I'm the only one that didn't get OR. Never been to jail before." And they were like, "Nope, $300 fine or 6 days."
So what'd you do?
Well, Pong told Ed to make me stay a while. So I stayed for 3 days and then they got me out. It was the worst 3 days of my life. It was horrible. Horrible. I had only heard about the horseshoe before that.
What's the horseshoe?
That's where they'll take you in down. I guess they have a new jail, but it was downtown Phoenix where you go first. and you have to sit in this round room with it's got a toilet right in the middle, no walls or anything, and the water fountain's right above the toilet. Like, I'm going to use that. And they leave you in there forever before they do your intake. And so I was at the county jail downtown for like one day, and then they sent me to Estrella to the tent. And then they assign you a partner that you have to carry your mattress over, and everybody wants to tell you stuff. That was for not paying my no
But she
insurance.
had a jumpsuit on, so so and
Oh, it was awful.
she was okay with the toilet in the middle of the room. That
No, I was not. I was. That's why I didn't go to the bathroom for 3 days.
You know, I was just gonna say, honestly, when I watch shows or whatever, the one thing I think about is, I mean, my bladder will bust and I will die from poisoning my body, because I am not going to ever pee in a jail cell. That I can't.
Right, me neither.
I can't. You just go ahead and give me death sentence. Don't put me in there, because I'm going to kill myself. I am not, you know, I've worried my entire life that my bladder would bust and I would have poison run through my body. And I've always felt that's going to happen, because I get very nervous and I don't go potty anywhere. So gel, to me, you see these pictures of that toilet and it's like, oh God.
Oh, and I've always asked people, what are that? Like, I've heard these bunks or whatever. So the jail that's downtown Phoenix, it's like 3 metal slabs that just come out of the wall. There's no mattress, of course, no blankets or anything. And there's 3 of them. And it gets pretty crowded in there. And I was on the top one when they called me to go to court. And when I was getting down, I accidentally kicked this girl on the second one, was getting off, and I kicked her in the head. I did not like, I was like, what am I going to, and she was ready. She got in my face. I said, well, they always say, don't let them push you around. You know, I've always heard, because I do know people that go to jail. So I was like, she's wanting to yell at me. And I said, you want to get it on? Let's do it. And everybody was saying, it's an accident. It's an accident. So she let it go, but I wasn't going to back down. And I don't fight. Everyone thinks I'm a fighter because I can fight because I'm big. No, I just have, when you're big, you don't have to fight. You know, you scare people just because you're big.
Oh, I would fight for sure.
Oh, I would have fought.
I would fight.
She got in my face, though. And
I just wouldn't pee. I would not pee. I would pee. I would not pee until I died. That's what would happen. But I would fight for sure.
Oh, I can't imagine being in there much longer.
Well,
when you get to when you get to your actual jail at Estrella, the bathrooms have like half walls. No front.
Awesome.
There's no front on them. I did pee at that
See,
one.
to me, you know, that's the whole part of losing your freedom.
Like humiliation, like in that
part
big
of
round room.
Losing your freedom is to not be able to go into your own bathroom.
Yeah.
That's huge.
And the stuff they give you to eat.
And that might be the worst part of going to jail, I think. I think it is.
I've always thought it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Showering.
Yep, none of that. I didn't do any of that. I didn't even get off my bunk. I just stayed only to go call to see if anybody was getting me out yet. They invited me to go do some of the girls, because they do assign somebody to you that's like a lifer. Really,
Shut up.
No, well, somebody has to show you how to get to your pod,
Like a buddy.
Yeah, like a buddy system. It's your, and then I got, you know, and the
I
girl.
had no idea.
Well, I didn't know before. But they don't walk you to your bunk or anything. They throw a mattress at you that's kind of a mattress. You can roll it up, and you have to put on their clothes. They keep yours, and she just showed me where my bunk was, and I crawled up on it. It was on the top, and I just stayed there, and only left it when I went to go call to see if anybody was getting me out yet. No, I was no part of the let's sneak some cigarettes in.
Okay, cough. I don't know. Okay, I'm a big fan of 60 Days In. So they really critique the whole intake. So I kind of know some lingo in that sense, because you are supposed to spread and cough. Okay, I'm just saying. I've learned this because what almost every one of their seasons will tell you is that they don't have to do that. And I'm thinking to myself, thank God, because I would never be trying to take anything in with me. Hell no.
Just undressing in front of a guard
But
is humiliating.
Just to spread and cough naked and
bent over. Oh, and I wouldn't want any visits because if you have a visit, they have to do that each time they go back in.
oh hell no.
Yeah, to see if anybody
Yeah,
brought
don't come
anything
and see
in.
me and cause me to do that again. I don't think I would get through it the first time. I just don't. I think I would have some kind of a nervous breakdown. And I would not go to the bathroom. I wouldn't.
No, you wouldn't. I know you wouldn't.
No, I literally have vomited before if I do not have
I had this friend one time. She got arrested and she had the flu. She was real sick. Well, she was Donald's girlfriend, and Mary. And
well,
she
she
said
was a winner.
she was
All
like,
right.
sorry. It's right there in that round room in the toilet right in the center. She's like, what could I do? She just stayed on that toilet most of the time. I felt bad for her when she was telling us about it, but I felt bad for the people in there with her too.
Oh my God.
Oh, it's just nasty. I mean, people lay down, just like what you see on
that
TV.
would be my problem. Is
people screaming at
the people
banging
who
on
are
windows.
okay. The people who are okay with using that bathroom. That would be a problem for me because
Well, and they
don't be okay with doing that right when I'm right here.
and they go around high-fiving because they see somebody they know. I mean, I didn't know anybody in there.
Oh my God.
And it could have been worse. I mean, at the timing could have been in there a lot longer. What is he saying?
It's I don't have my glasses on. Oh, I can look at
Mom,
it.
hold down there.
Oh really?
Yeah, I'll never go back either. I'll run.
Right. Right. No, seriously. Your mom called down there. So this was a small town. Can you imagine? Yeah.
Well, it was 20 years ago for me because it was 2002.
Yeah. So that was that still was not long. I mean, like, were you in Mayberry? Where were you? Yeah, it's not for me. I've only been pulled over like 2 times in my life, and I get scared bigger than shit, and I didn't do anything.
Yeah, I still don't like a cop behind me.
No, when I get one behind me, I'm like, okay, you know what? I've never been like stash shit, hide stuff, nothing like that. I'm just like, I just don't want it. And like having handcuffs on and getting in the back of a car is the most terrifying thing for me to even think about. Like, I just can't really.
Yep.
But more than anything, that toilet. No. That has been my biggest.
And the food too.
Oh, well, you wouldn't eat because you wouldn't want to use the toilet.
Well, yeah, you wouldn't want to eat because you wouldn't want to use the food. And people are trading it for stuff because they're in there for a long time, so they do have to figure out a way. They have to survive.
Well, not because what I've learned from 60 Days In, not everybody gets
commissary.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I wasn't there long enough to get commissary.
So you can do small town. I'm like, where the hell? How did your mom call you out to the job? That's hilarious.
I called the prison once for Paul because he said they weren't giving him the medical attention he needed. And I was like, this is Mrs. Martin. And they were like, he's in here right now.
Well, and then you realize that he's a hypochondriac.
Yeah, that's before I knew that he's always sick. Yeah,
he's always got liver problems. But anyway. Okay, so carry on. I'm going to use the restroom.
So does anybody have any questions maybe?
There you go.
About
does anybody want to come up and
does anybody want to talk about something? So Jackie and I, we go places and Jackie's a little more private. I always tell people that finding out anything about me is like pulling teeth. I'm just so private, but that's a joke because I tell everything. $10 for a jar of peanut butter. Probably not, but I know stuff is very high. That's funny. So Jackie and I would go places, and she's like, "Can we go anywhere without you telling them that you are a recovering addict?" Like, well, probably not. I guess I don't do it as much anymore. But we go get our nails done, and they're like, "Your sister." I said, "Yeah." And so I start telling the person doing my nails, "I'm a recovering addict." But sometimes you say that, and it might help somebody. You just don't know. But the thing is, it's all about the timing. I believe in the CPS thing. That was the tool, and it worked for me because I guess I wanted it anyway. I'm not. Any questions? Yeah. So Marla, the one meter when I was arrested on Easter. That's a good one, Marla. It's my aunt. She didn't like me back then either. I'm kind of shy. Brother, do you have anything to say? Mr. Snotty? You can't hear me.
So I was just going to make a comment.
Nice. Only 2 years sober. That's good. That's good. I still have a drink occasionally, and I really thought I was a drunk long before I was a drug addict. And so it kind of made me nervous that I would pick that back up. But I don't think I drink that often. So thank you, Texas Life, Chili. Yep. What was your comment, Mr. Snotty?
Your sister let the chihuahuas out.
She let the
She let the
out.
dogs
She
out.
let the dogs out. Yes, she did.
So that means I'm going to have to feed them.
They're not being too loud. I think there's probably a lot of success stories with CPS, but we don't hear about them because it worked. There's some that don't. I know sometimes they get called on. With Matt, my oldest son, someone called CPS on me when he was little, and I was a user, but they had said all these things that weren't true. They came and checked out the house, and none of them were true, but it just turned out to be a bitter doper that was upset about something, and that's what they do. Oh, for sure. 100%. Well, it's accountability. You have to do the UAs. That was tough. That wasn't tough, but I would say that's the toughest thing, I guess. You have to go to all their things, but I actually signed up for extra things. I did all these parenting classes. What is it? Drug court. They have drug court. They have this organization we took parenting classes. Paul and I both did. And you have to go to meetings like crazy. Like there was something almost every day of the week that we had to do. They keep you busy. They do keep you busy. And it's kind of rough in the beginning because you want to just sleep and cry. I looked like hell because I just cried all the time in the beginning. And we drive by this one street in Tucson, and Polly was saying, remember my foster parents' mom? Yeah, their son went to this karate school. I'm like, you were there 2 days, Polly. And then he was at my brother-in-law's house. Do you share no, I thought it was very helpful. But then again, I wanted it. So like I said, some of the people at the drop place thought it was too much. And I know people that actually I had another CPS case when Polly was first born, but it didn't. They dropped it they said it was unsubstantiated evidence, and I had to go to a few of these meetings, and I was in there with people that didn't get to take their babies home from the hospital, and that is sad.
Well, it's sad if they do take him home.
It is. It's well, I know it is. It is.
And
But see, if they would have been maybe a little tougher on me that time, maybe I would have stopped sooner. But they said that they didn't have enough evidence, so they dropped it. And they had plenty of evidence, actually. It's just that, yes, it's just that when they went to Juanita's to check the house where I was going to be staying with Polly, they told her everything. It was the guy was new. The first there's an investigator, and then there's your caseworker, and he told her everything. And then when I went to the first drug meeting, whatever that rehab outpatient program, he's telling us about how they're not supposed to say anything. And I was like, really? Because they told my aunt everything. And next thing I know, I get a letter saying that my case had been dropped.
oh, because you told everything.
Yeah. I think that's what happened.
Well, you know,
Because they clearly had enough evidence. They did blood work on me at the hospital.
right. And so they could have possibly stopped that sooner, and they didn't. And for whatever reason, you know, like she said, you know, that was God's tool to do that. But what we have to know is that if they actually stay on top of something and they see something is wrong and they stay on top of it, how many times could something have changed to be different? Now, not everybody is going to just stop doing it because they lose their kids, but at least the kids won't be there in that. And not to say that you didn't always take care of your kids, you did. But there are times when you fell asleep in your car and you drove around with the kid while you did crossword puzzles driving down the road.
And I had drugs on me.
Right. So
most of the time.
You know, not everybody. Personally, I think like Leilani, even without drugs, she's not going to.
Does she really think she was untouchable or something? Is that it? I feel like I was scared for what could happen. That, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I always was. I'm a chicken shit, actually, and that's why I don't have. You know, like I said, drugs could have given me a felony, but I couldn't get involved in all the other stuff. I know people who did crazy things, but I couldn't get involved in that because I knew what I was doing was bad enough. I wasn't going to steal from my family and wash checks, and I know people that did a lot of crazy things. Because you do, when you're in that circle, you do know.
Right, and that's a lot of my problem right there, is the circle that you run with.
Oh,
you know, that was a big problem for me. I don't know what kind of people are going to be around, you know, and that kind of thing always makes me nervous. But you know, when you look at somebody like Leilani, you know, if you ask me, looking at the history, looking at the generations of things that have happened, this is not a good situation for children. And that was very clear. You know, we've heard different stories about why she didn't have custody of her kids. We know that all of the kids were born testing positive with drugs in their system. You know, her mom said that she took custody because they were going to take custody, that they were going to take the kids from Leilani, so she took custody of the kids.
That's so weird, though. They're supposed to do a background
also
check.
People say that then the brother said no, she just gave up custody. Who really knows? Because not anybody in that family is going to tell the truth. But the fact is, it was very clear. CPS was very involved with their life, with their situation. Everybody on the street knew that those kids were out wandering around by themselves.
Right. And they were making calls to the CPS, right?
Yes, they were involved in their lives. She didn't have custody of them. And this is my problem with it, is that, you know, when you have an active case, you know, you have to stay on top of it. You have to say, too many times we've heard, you know, look at Gabriel Fernandez. So many people involved in this, and it was just all let go. And And his aunt was trying to get custody of him the whole time.
Oh
Had-
yeah, the one.
Yes.
Oh, well, those two guys were that were.
Or the two
yeah,
girl, or yeah, it was a gay couple.
Yes,
I thought
and
it
her
was two
boyfriend was
girls.
always telling that kid he was gay because he used to live with those two guys.
Right. So they
Yes.
the
Yeah, they-
boyfriend was just,
He loved being with them too,
of
and they
course,
loved
and they
him.
loved him.
Mhm.
They wanted him, and clearly his mother did not. Did not. Can you? You can look up here too.
I did in my case because I was so into it. For reals. I mean, I had all these questions and I wanted to know when this was going to happen because I really wanted my kid back sooner than a year. I mean, I wanted him back now. But I also took advantage of what they had to offer. Like, you got my TV. They, again, it wasn't just going through the motions because they probably wouldn't have worked so hard if I hadn't to push for it. I mean, I was calling constantly, and I'm telling you, when I went to court,
So you were asking for all the
extra. They wouldn't let. So I wanted. Paul signed up for drug court. We each have our own caseworker, and I wanted to do drug court, which once a week. It's you don't have to. It's just an option, and you go once a week, and you see a judge, and you go over all your the case and everything with a bunch of other people in there, and Paul told them that he threw a bowl of cereal at me once. So then that started a
wow.
Yeah, some abusive stuff we had to go through, and we both couldn't do the drug court. So anyway, and he did have a dirty during that one time, so they kicked him out. I never did. Our caseworker actually became my friend, and we were friends for a long time. I think we still would be, but I don't know where she's at anymore. That's many years ago.
She became flaky and not you.
She was like my friend, and she said she actually thought I was the one that wasn't going to make it between me and Paul. I'm like, really? So anyway, they took him in July, and when we went to court in April, they told me that day that we get to have him back, and that had gotten him back in 9 months, quicker than anybody else in Tucson. And actually, the state's attorney had tears in his eyes. His name was Thaddeus, and because even Kim told me later, our caseworker, she's like, "Do you see Thaddeus was crying?" He's like, "I wish every family could embrace it like the Martins have."
Oh, that's really awesome.
Yeah.
See, so had they not stepped in and done their job, and yes, I will always, I believe God was involved because he's involved in everything. He is involved in everything, always is. So,
But he gives you free will, so you could mess it up too.
right.
And I had prayed about it lots of times. And that's, like I said, the night before I did pray about it. And that's why it worked for me, because other times they came to my house and it didn't work. But that's what helps is with CPS is the accountability with the UAs. And there are other times, like Jackie said, that I had to try rehab, and I did it to get out of a ticket or, something, or to keep a job.
For a job. Right.
Yeah.
Mostly for a job. Yeah.
Right. And, but I was doing it for the wrong reasons. This time I was like, hell yeah, they're here. And so then everybody knows. So now everybody knows too. It's out in the open. They understand why you're sleeping for 2 weeks. You have to drag yourself up to go to the meetings and stuff. And you look like shit for a while, but and actually I gained a lot more weight than I have always gained. Been heavy. No, I don't think I've always been heavy. That's what starts it. You lose a lot of weight at first, but I gained a lot of weight. But it was so weird. I was able to go on a diet and lose it better than when I was on the drug.
Right. And it's a very different life now to know that.
Well, you can't stand when you're around them now.
Well, yeah, I can't. Like I said, if I go down an aisle at Walmart, I see somebody arguing with themselves, and just talking about everything. I'm like, I'm just going to go down another aisle because I can't do that. They drive me insane. They drive me crazy. I can't stand being around that kind of stuff.
But when
And
that's
I
all the
just
people you know,
assume-
everyone's like, how are you going to make it when you're around all these people? Because that's all the people I knew. And
Right.
and at first I was like, you know what? They're still my friends. And they don't do drugs in front of me. They're very supportive. And that's the way I felt in the beginning. But the longer I was clean, I didn't want to be around them anymore either,
They irritated you.
Yeah, they irritated me.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was very clear for you to understand why you irritated people.
Yeah. Well, I was never like them though.
Yeah. Right. It was very
And
irritating.
who
to
would
be
have
around.
thought at 45? I mean, I pretty much didn't know if I was ever going to quit. I hated the thought of that.
But look at now, and you never didn't have a relationship with Matt, but would Matt have felt comfortable for you to take his kids for a weekend?
No.
No, if you were on drugs, he would not.
No, and he loves our relationship.
And now it's awesome. I mean,
it's the best. It's the best grandkids.
It's wonderful. And she gets to have a relationship with her grandchildren, with her son. Her other son barely remembers the fact that,
If it's being with his foster parents.
yeah, right. He remembers that because, that's what kids always remember, But it's such a good situation. And it can be, but, and it's not always going to be that you decide to stop doing that.
Well, some cities are stricter than others. I think, like when this happened in Tucson, I had told her about when I first had Polly in Phoenix and what happened. I told my caseworker, and she's like, "Oh yeah, they don't have a reputation." Like Tucson was a lot tougher on it, and like you're saying, it is a lot of the gym, CPS, and some of them just are let it go. Some cities are a lot tougher, and Tucson was tough. She said that you're not going to get by with it here. Nothing. The morning that day they took Polly, we had a friend that, well, Paul did because he was a dealer. This couple that we knew that had a baby too. Well, Polly was 4, and it was in the paper. The wife had taken the baby like 3 a.m. on a walk in the stroller, and she just lost her mind or something. Just left the stroller sitting there with the baby in it. She doesn't even remember. I bet they didn't get their kid back. I don't know. Because you have to be ready for it. It would be like everywhere. What would be like everywhere?
I think she means it should be like that everywhere.
Oh, it
Like
should
that.
be like that everywhere.
Right. And again, another thing that we have to be very, I think as people, these are things that we have to pay attention to, because we have to be,
Right.
we have to be I can't think of the right word now.
We have to be what? What are you trying to say now? Help you find the word.
We have to be actively involved in our communities. We have to be involved in what's happening. And
See something, say something.
right. Yes, you always hear see something, say something, and then it's like, okay, well, but you're being homophobic or whatever. They're always going to come up with a reason that you're saying it, rather than what is. Because I don't care what people are. I don't care what people do with their business. Love whoever you want to love. Live however you want to live. Unless don't involve me in your business, because I don't actually want to be in your business. I damn sure don't want anybody in mine. But we all have to say things like, you know what? Children can, for sure, we need to be on top of it with children, because they don't have a choice. They can't defend themselves. They are counting on adults. They're counting on their parents. And they should be able to, but they can't always do that, as we know. Summer, you were not here last night. Hello.
I thought she was.
WTF. Or H, sorry.
I wish we knew what could make people not
But
be
the
addicts.
problem is that what we have to do is not just say, okay, we're going to call CPS and have, because people do this because they're mad at somebody.
Mm-hmm.
This is the problem with that shit.
Mm-hmm. She was there. That's what I thought.
Oh, you were here. Okay, I'm sorry. I get it was kind of a lot, so I guess I missed you, but sorry about that then. But you have people, I honestly have heard of even YouTube creators who are mad at other creators call CPS on them just because they don't like them. That's clearly some bullcrap. And I guess we can't expect them to completely understand through all that kind of shit.
It's not rocket. That's when it's not rocket when you call people out.
Okay, well, you know what is weird, Summer? Because today I was thinking, I was wanting to tell Summer something, and I forgot. Now I can't remember what it was, but I was thinking about you earlier today. And anyway, so they have to, I know it's a lot for them to have to see through that, and they don't have to see through that because they can go and say, okay, everything's fine or whatever, but you do know when things aren't fine. We all do. We all have a sense, we all, every time I'm at the store and somebody just wants to tell me some shit that I don't even know this person, and I'm like, okay,
She's very private.
I'm getting away from here. Okay.
She's been pissed off today.
Oh, I can't stand that bitch. This is why we're talking about CPS. This is the deal. What if they give those other kids back to her? What if that happens? That can't happen. We're not
surely
done.
They won't.
Okay, but surely they shouldn't have given them to her in the first damn place.
Yeah, I don't know. They did a really intense background check on Ed before he got poly.
Right. This is not how it should work. This is why I say, not trying to make fun of shit, but are we living in Mayberry? What's going on? It's like Opie Cunningham thinks everything's awesome. So here we go. We just can't do this. We can't do this.
You know how you were saying about the bathroom thing in jail? That's happened with me with CPS too. I never had at that time. Yeah, I guess I had been to the jail the one time, but going to the bathroom in front of people is not something I can do. And so the first time I had to go do a UA for CPS, I couldn't do it with the girl just standing there. And so I just kept drinking water, and she's like, "You're going to have to, because it's considered there's inconclusive, which is considered a dirty," because I couldn't go. And I was like, and I was just drinking all kinds of water. And as soon as we left there, I had to tell Paul to pull over and let me go to the bathroom. I couldn't go. And so I was like, go by the CPS office. I've got to tell them. And I was crying and crying. And I went in there and told them, I'm clean. I just can't do this. I've never had to go to the bathroom in front of people. I've never been on probation or anything. So they signed me up for the swab, which is actually, then you can't trick that, they say. And I was like, well, I'm not trying to trick anything anyway.
Right.
So just swab me.
Right. But you have gone, that right there is enough. I don't give a shit if they try to feed me moldy bologna. I don't care. I just won't eat. But I cannot pee in front of anybody. I can't do it. Even Mr. Snotty's like, well, is it okay if you... No, it's not. See ya. I need my privacy. I need my privacy. I'll have to look at it. Oh, okay. Well, she has her grandchild.
And they did a background check on her like they did with Ed. And that's why Polly was gone for 2 days, because they do that. And it's weird because we couldn't get it back as long as we lived in that house. So they clearly did it on everybody that lived in that house and their backgrounds. And Ed had some troubles with the law, but it was never drug related. And they were years ago, and he had changed his ways.
And the funny thing is, Arizona does not, when you get divorced in Arizona, they don't, if you have drug problems, that does not affect your custody.
Right. They always want to say that they
Mhm.
think it's better for the kids to be with
Mhm.
family. And that's not always the case. I mean, sometimes it's, like you said, generational, the whole family. I mean, come
Right.
on.
You know, so many things. No, you're absolutely right, Texas Life. That's the problem. You're absolutely right. And this is where there's so many things that I'm not trying to pretend that I know the answers. Not necessarily, but too many times we see when it's so clear. Gabriel Fernandez, his teachers called all the time. He had several spots in his head balding. Sometimes it's so clear. And
Well, that's a,
yeah, you don't want them to go and harass people who are taking care of their kids and they just yelled at them or they corrected them, which, God forbid, the world would be a much better place if kids were corrected these days. They're not. So that's why we see a whole bunch of damn bullshit going on. But those seem to be the ones that you hear about and not the ones that everybody's going, what the hell's happening here? Why are those kids still with them? Why would BJ get a hold of those kids?
you know, and it's what's odd too is that, like with Polly, when they showed up that and took Polly, it wasn't
Yep.
even like a bad home or any, you know, you would have thought that they would come in and there would be no electricity or food, or just that he would be dirty, or there would be reports of him in the street. And it ended up, you know, they can't tell you who called or what was said. However, when you, my personality, I get to know everybody real well, and I did get to find out the man who lived across the street, his daughter had lost her kids to CPS, and she then had started working for CPS and did videos and stuff, and she just noticed the traffic. So she said that she felt like there was drugs going on, that it was just simply by the traffic and the odd hours of people out there and they're working on their cars and stuff, because you know how people are
taking every lighter apart and shit
like
that.
and when Sandy's friend said they got her sister's kids bikes for Christmas and they were all together, they were so excited. She goes, every one of them flipped their bike upside down and start working on them because they're seeing that so much. It's sad.
Take everything apart.
But that's, yeah. And this
but
lady,
you think about I'm not wrong here. I'm not wrong here because you know what? Look at Harmony Montgomery. First of all, nobody knew where the hell that kid was for how long? 2 years? And that apartment or home, wherever they were at, the last known place, they were squatting. They weren't renting there. They were squatting. And that is where CPS gave that child back to him, where they were squatting. No. Major fell, humongous fell, and a devastating, tragic fell.
oh yeah.
Have you heard that?
Of what? Which one?
Harmony Montgomery?
Oh no, I thought you were talking about Leilani still.
No, Harmony Montgomery. No, only her brother's adopted parents continued to try to find her, just because their child was sad. But she had been given back to her dad. It was all A-okay. He wasn't even legal. He was squatting. Who the hell does that? Who has CPS come and give them their kid back when they're squatting? I mean, this is some bullshit.
We had to have a home.
That is bullshit. You don't even check anything. They had a hose and somebody else's power strung up there. She had a black eye. And then for 2 years, if somebody hadn't been, I'm not even claiming it was a mom because the mom acts like this or that. Nobody there gave a shit about that kid. other than the brother's adopted parents. See? But you know what? Okay, that's the thing. Okay, I get that part. And this is my problem, though, where Summer, my problem with this is that I'm sure that they're overworked. I'm sure bureaucracy is a humongous problem for them. I don't doubt that for a second. Anything run by the government is a bunch of bullshit. And you're overworked and underpaid. But you know what? I have a really hard time with those two words. I really do. Because this is America. You do not have to accept a job. You can quit anytime you want to. You know, you can say this, I'm worth more than this and I'm going to leave. But once you accept a position for a certain amount of pay, then you're supposed to do that. I don't care what it is. If I'm supposed to dig ditches, I'm supposed to clean toilets for $5 an hour. If I have accepted that, then that's what I need to do. That's number one. Number two, if you don't have a heart in this, then that's probably not the job for you. But guess what else? On one end, as an employee, you can complain about being overworked and underpaid. But as a government employee, you're not going to lose your job no matter how derelict you are. You're not going to lose your job. That is a bigger problem for me as a taxpayer, as somebody who expects somebody to take care of these kids. They won't lose their job hell or high water. Takes a hell of a lot for them to lose their job. Almost impossible. That's a big problem for me. Private sector, you'd be out of there if you don't do your damn job, period. Because they don't have an endless sieve of money to keep throwing at something. That's where I think, that's what I'm saying. I haven't read that. I'm going to get a cigarette, so you read what she's saying.
She said, and let me tell y'all something. If there's a report made to CPS, if that worker cannot get in touch with the parents in 30 to 45 days, they have to close the case, whether y'all know that or not. So that doesn't make a bit of sense. I know that might be more of a reason not to close it if you can't get in touch with them.
That is a bureaucracy I'm telling you about.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's the kind of bureaucracy that we can't keep standing for. You know what? We have got to defend the defenseless. See, that's complete bullshit. If you can't find them, that's a bigger reason to question what the hell's going on.
Right.
No matter whatever the hell's gone on in my life, everybody knows where the hell I'm at. I mean, I might be one paycheck away from homeless at times in my life. Who knows? But you can find me.
Somebody can, for sure.
Somebody can find me. It's just not okay. You know, I've never pretended to know all the answers. I'm not going to say that it can be a flawless situation. I know that it can't, but it has got to get better than it is. It has to. No, I know. I get that. I do. And that's why we have to make things better. We have to figure it out. Because you know what, Summer? I've heard too many stories where they have gone and they have done it, but maybe what's that story? I shouldn't even bring it up because I can't recall the whole thing. But the woman was very high society. They showed up at the ER every time those kids were there because they were there a lot. She ended up killing that kid because when they
Yeah,
when
some
she,
people can fake it really good
right,
though. They're
when she
yes, they're
said
cons.
this kid wasn't available, they just said, okay, well, no big deal, no big deal. You know, there's all kinds of reasons. And I'm not trying to be ugly towards anybody, but we are failing kids. That is a fact. Like I said, give up on me every single way. Please stay the F out of my business. I don't need you to worry about me. You have a 20-month-old. He has no
The fact that he was outside in the street so many times at that age.
the very first day he was missing, the neighbor was crying because she said, I've always been terrified. These kids, we keep finding them out here in dirty diapers, sagging off of them, no clothes, and bruises all over them. No. How the hell is this not a problem?
And now he's dead.
And this is my biggest problem. There was an open CPS case on these kids. That should mean that everything they do is dissected.
You know, we
I
couldn't even
guarantee
go
it
see
would be for me.
just because a family member had Polly, we couldn't just see him when we wanted. That still had to be arranged visits through CPS. They had to know about him. There was rules, and we stuck by them. But again, a lot of those people that live that life they're con artists, and they can, you know, after we got clean and got Polly back. Remember when he started school in kindergarten? My caseworker, my case had been closed.
Yes.
She called me and she was like, I need to see you and Polly. And I was like, what's going on? Just chatting with her. And she's like, oh, this is business. And I was like, really? And we met at McDonald's, and she said that Polly had fell asleep in class. And so they started questioning him. And he told them that me and Polly got in a fight, and Paul made us sleep on the porch. And Kim said she told her supervisor, she's like, I know that family. Paul can't make Susan do anything. If anybody slept on the porch, he did. My husband. So they just had to make sure Polly was okay and talk to him. He just made that up.
Right. And kids can do that kind of thing. And I think that has happened, and it has caused issues for people.
But it wasn't like he was running out in the street. That's what I'm saying. Is
that's
so
right.
They even called me and want to see us again, when some people have call after call after call where their toddler is in the street and nothing happens. I mean, we couldn't even see Paul when he was with Ed unless it was arranged and it was scheduled through CPS. But Leilani could live at her mom's.
Right. No, this is what I'm saying. You have an open CPS case, and all these things are happening. It's a fail. And right. And so what I'm saying also, Summer, is then we need to get more involved and say, listen, you know, I'm not going to volunteer to be a foster child or a foster parent. Wow. Because
They do all that. That's what I'm saying. They're con artists.
they do need good foster parents. I get that. But my daughter is wanting to adopt a foster child and get them out of the system.
And not even she wants one that usually people don't want older.
She's actually asking for ages that are hardest to adopt. She's saying she doesn't care about the sex, about the rate, nothing. And they really don't have they don't really even have the time to bother to help that, when that would be a wonderful thing for a child. So there's a fail here. And the problem is that I can't be a foster parent. I can't. I have a huge family of my own that I am not willing to take from. But I would actually be very willing to help out. I could volunteer my time to go do checkups, or I would
home
do
visits.
How come we can't do like home visit? You know, does it just have to be foster parents? Because I know too many foster parents that I have heard them say this is an income for them. It has nothing to do with that child. Nothing. It's 100% an income.
They don't feel love. They get passed around.
Look at Orrin and Orson and what, I can't remember their names ever, but they never even moved with that family. And nobody knew. No, you're right. No, what I say have said here, and I believe me, I am 100% saying I understand their hands are tied a lot, and that there's a lot of bureaucracy. We know this. I do understand that. I'm saying we have to figure out something to fix it. I'm not trying to place blame. I'm saying we just have to figure out a way to fix it because
One
the
Quentin's too many.
the it's too big. It's too big to fail as big as it does.
Well, the ones that fell are like really in bad shape that I can't believe they got.
Oh,
It's not even
when
like
you're
you
talking-
can fake it with globs of hair missing and burn marks or out in the street when you're a toddler. I mean, that is hard. I don't care who you're talking to. It could be the best con in town. You can't fake that. That
no,
really
that
happened.
happened. That
Yeah,
happened.
that's what I'm saying.
Right. It's not because somebody called and really your kids are fine. Nobody's ever seen anything, but somebody called.
Right.
Right. And you're talking Harmony Montgomery. You're talking the Turpin kids. Look at those kids in Houston. And those kids lived with their brother who was beaten to death in the next room for months. This is some sick ass shit. And these kids, they have to have somebody. They have to have somebody.
Some foster homes are worse than the home they came from.
Exactly. No, I know.
It has, when it's not for the money, where it's because they love children and they want to make
I
it
do.
better.
I do know what you're saying.
Like Juanita.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My aunt was a foster parent, and I believe very much that
I don't.
I thought
foster care.
that they were our cousins. I didn't even realize they were foster. They were just our cousins. They were in all of our family pictures and stuff. They were part of our life. No, I don't.
I don't
Summer.
either.
And no, that's what I'm saying. I would volunteer in another. I can't. I have a lot of kids and grandkids of my own that I take care of, and so you're right. Okay, so what do I call myself? What I'm saying is, as
You
a
donate
whole,
to charities a lot, stuff like that. You do things.
I do a lot of things. I do everything I can, but I would, if we could volunteer our time to help a caseworker, not just keep kids. And because what happens is people
That's a
who
good idea, actually.
have kids are not any better. They're not in any better situation than they came from. A lot of times, sometimes it's amazing.
Oh, they love them. Yeah.
100%. I know it is. I know it can be.
Juanita still has relationships with some of
No,
hers.
my aunt those kids are still her kids.
They call her Bomb,
and they're 40
her,
years old. They're 50 years old, 60
60.
years old. Yes. And she's still their mom.
Well,
Always
she
has
buried
been.
Sonny. She's the one that paid for Sonny's
Right.
service. Yeah.
But you know what? Somewhere they said they didn't. Because the whole neighborhood called all the time. These kids were out in the street by themselves. They were in the pool by themselves. Everybody says they weren't. And why would you just give them to Billy Joe? She's not a model citizen by any stretch of the imagination.
Well, it's hard to say what happened. Maybe they did have overload of cases. Maybe they were very convincing when they went there. Maybe it was such an improvement from Leilani that they thought it was good. It's, and like they were saying earlier, someone was saying, I wish we could know exactly what happened. I mean, what about the caseworker can you imagine how that person is feeling right now that they, have to feel partly responsible for that?
I know that I understand where the workers themselves are coming from. I 100% do. I'm not even trying to blame anybody. I'm not even pretending to have the answers. I'm just saying, as a people, that is one thing that we should all get ourselves around. because our children are our future. That is just a fact. Their education, everything, it requires a lot.
Yeah.
Right. No, you're right. Right here, we fix this parent.
But again, you have to be wanted.
But it has to be a parent that wants to be fixed. And we have to figure out a way to, this is why I'm saying, I'm not placing blame. I'm saying we have to work on this. This is something that everybody needs to, this is a thing.
And they do, like I said, with all the classes and stuff we were in, it was they were trying to help us with, like, the parenting classes were really good, and I asked questions, I was involved in all that, I did everything they said, I did more. And then there are some people that just stroll in and they're just, fidgeting, and they can't wait to get out, and they're like,
Mhm.
you hear them talking when they go to the car, they can't, I can't believe we have to do this just to get our kid, and they're doing it to help, but that's how you have to look at it, I guess. And it's not going to help if you don't want it to help. In some cases, I think they look at it like some of them get them taken and then they get them back. They play the system and then they get them taken again, almost like a vacation, and then they get them back.
Right. And then I know we can't fix everything. I get that.
But the beating of children and stuff,
But
that one,
there
where
are
there's
so
marks, that
many-
one blows me away.
There are so many cases where for 2 years nobody ever checked to see where Harmony was. Nobody ever went back to see if it was working out with her going back to her dad. That nobody ever gave two dicks that he wasn't even renting that place. He was squatting.
But like she's saying there are people that they are on top of it. They know, like she said, what if Billy Joe knew she beat him to the punch because of their life, and it probably wasn't the first time. She stopped her right before it got to the point where they were going to take him, and she stepped in. Like just habitual CPS people.
So you said, okay, well, so this is grandma, and so we all, she, now, her name on all these social media is Nana's Love. That's hard for me to listen to, but Nana's Love has a rap sheet that is exactly the path her daughter was going down. Her daughter behaved exactly how she was raised.
Yeah, that's not how I was raised.
See, I would like to volunteer my time to be a caseworker. I would like to volunteer that I could go and just figure out, what, because check this out. What if, just hear me out on this, Summer, what if, we have done things in our family where we go and provide a Christmas for an entire family. And with a single mom, catch her up on all of her bills and help her get on her feet. This is something we've done as a family. My dad did this when I was a child. If the woman needed a job, my dad would fix her car, help her get a job, not just give them Christmas, but help them actually get up on their feet again. But sometimes as a caseworker, what if you went by someone's house and you said, you know what? This mother loves her kids. She needs some things. My aunt gets clothes donated to her, and she cuts them up and uses them to make quilts that she makes for the homeless. As a family, we do things like this. So maybe somebody just needs, if you could just catch me up on my electric, how many times in your life, if you got a double electric bill, you can't pay that, but you could.
You just get overwhelmed.
You get overwhelmed, right?
You don't see a light at the end of the tunnel.
But
if you do, it's a train.
Right. We don't know who those people are. When we do help. I know we do. We've done it. But, if we could have a system where, hey, you know what? I'm going to go and check out these people and they need this.
But there are people
That's
that play that
exactly
system too
right,
that don't
Top
need it.
Hats. That's exactly right. And guess what? That is why this is what, when I met Mr. Snotty, the first year we dated, I said, I like to help the family out for Christmas every year. And he said, oh, we bought a bunch of stuff for the angel tree. And I said, you know what? Those people are ripping off the system. You know what? I have a whole shitload of family that we pay their electric bill, we pay their rent, we pay all their bills. And I've heard them say they're getting ready to bring angel tree stuff over. So let's put all of our stuff somewhere else.
All the presents.
Let's hide our presents. Let's hide the presents. They get better presents than
That's why.
than
That's
other
what I'm
people.
saying. You want to do this for people,
I
but
want.
it's
I
people
want to
that
help.
play.
I have always wanted to help a family. I asked my dad to do this when I was 13 years old. He loved it. And we started doing it every year. We found a family that truly needed help. Caught them up on their bills, bought them presents. Like I said, there were times we went to this one house, there was no power. It was a horrible situation. And my dad fixed her car, found her a job. We didn't walk away until they were literally back on their feet, because a food box isn't going to get you to next month. I'm not dogging that. But really helping somebody get into a better place. Sometimes that's all people need.
Yeah, the car fix something. Yeah.
Right. Because you know what?
You don't get that first check right away either.
No, you don't. And it's, like we helped this woman out. Okay, it's one thing. We got her rent paid up. We got all her utilities paid up. If she can't go to work without that car. So you get that. And it sounds selfish of a person to say this, but it's true. It is true. And we all know it is. My whole thing is you take somebody who's struggling, and if they're not, if I'm going to do everything, I'm going to help you get yourself out of this. If you don't want out of it, then I can't help you. And then your kids need to be taken. Then they got to go. Exactly right. Don't you think, just like you said, Top Hats, let me teach you to fish. I'm not going to buy your groceries. I'm going to teach you I'm going to help you buy your own.
So many, though, are gotten so used to it. Like you said, hide the gifts, take new gifts. Their kids end up having the best Christmas of anybody, and they haven't done anything.
No, I have too many family members that, let me tell you, have lived better than I have as a
never had a job
and never had a damn job. Never. They have all kinds of cable. They have it all.
A car, I know.
Because they don't talk about the boyfriend who's actually paying shit, working there. It's just them. So they go and lap up every damn thing they can get.
Free
housing, they pay $20 a month for a house with a pool. Yeah, I've watched this happen way too many times. No, if you help people, because I bet you a lot of kids are taken from parents who love their kids and wouldn't hurt them, but they don't have means. Mm-hmm. And they don't have a way to get out of it. They don't have a family. Sad. Sad. And those are the ones that you have to, we need to take, we need to say, look, these people can't help it. You look over at that shit in Savannah, that's bad news. I'm sorry, Summer. It's not you. I'm just running amok on shit I've watched my whole life. I'm really not trying to. No, that's absolutely right. Right. Because then they move to another state and nobody knows about the bullshit. Yep, that's for sure. Because you know what? So many times a kid doesn't necessarily need to be removed. a lot of people would do anything for their kids if they had a little bit of help. No, we don't need more laws in this shit. We don't. We need less laws. And we need more people who are willing to say, look, this mother will work her ass off. But once you get behind, you almost can't get caught back up. I've been a single mother before. Let me tell you, I know. And it's a scary thing. You ask Fig, let me tell you. Not going to lie. We didn't have hot water. I got up every morning and I heated up water for myself to take a bath. And then I heated up enough water and put it in both the bathtubs for the kids and woke them up so they could have a hot bath. When I first started dating Mr. Snotty, he one time said he was going to take a shower there. And I was like, oh, yeah. Mm-mm. I had enough money to take care of my kids, and I did take care of them. We didn't have cable. We didn't have a lot of stuff. We barely had a phone that rang busy. I've been there, but I did it myself, and I never asked my family for help, but I did have family. I would have if I had to. I would have never let my kids not eat. I'm just saying, there are people who don't have family. There are people who don't have anything. And no, more laws don't help. More laws never help anything. They have themselves in the middle of shit they have no business being in the middle of. I just heard somebody, Mr. Snotty told me that the Congress is in the middle of people not being able to get Taylor Swift tickets. Are you shitting me right now? I always wondered what the hell their business was with baseball. It's none of their business, you ask me. But no, I definitely don't think it's more laws. I think it's just that it's something that we just sweep under the rug and we as people don't pay enough attention to. I think it's best to never take a kid from their mother, no matter what. But if mother is Leilani, then it is. We're not always going to get it right. We're not always going to get it right. I know we're not. But we got to do better. We have to do better. I mean, when you think of a defenseless child, they got nothing. They just have to roll with the punches, with whatever mom's doing. And mom might get her shit together. Look, my sister did. And that's always best.
30-some years later.
I think I made people mad because I can't even read. I don't have my glasses on. I can't even read the chat, so I'm having a hard time.
Where's your glasses?
Oh, they're right there. Well, I get on a tangent, and so I just go on. And of course, this is obviously a very emotional, a very sticky subject. And so I didn't mean to offend anybody. I don't mean to. And like I've said, I am not pretending to know the answers. I don't. I just know it's something we have to do better at. We can't fix it. I know we can't, but we have to do better. We have to figure out a way to do better.
Well, a great thing would be if we could cure addiction.
Right.
Like she said, it starts with the parents.
It does. Of course that's what it is. And if we can do that,
But
You're
some
so
people,
sweet, Frazzled. You're always sweet to me. I know that I'm not. I want it to be better. Maybe I'm just crazy.
well, being a user, I knew a lot of users, and they didn't have the best lives for their kids, but I know they loved them. They did love them. It's and like I said,
Oh,
I,
okay. Maybe they should talk. I mean, I just always think, what the hell business do you have to be involved in shit that doesn't concern you? Mm-hmm. That's exactly right. Because you know what, Summer, had Leilani been taken from her mother, we wouldn't be here with Quentin. Yep. She had no. This is a raised behavior. This is generations of behavior, and it's bad. And so you're inevitably going to end up with something like this.
tickets can.
Oh, okay. So I guess they should get involved. I don't know. I just get. I'm thinking to myself, who gives two squats about Taylor Swift? Because I don't.
Oh, Polly does. That's what he wants.
So I guess that's my bad. No, I get what you're saying. I just always remember them being so involved with what was that baseball player? Who was that baseball player, babe, that they were all involved with?
Who was involved with?
Congress. It was the stupidest damn thing I ever seen in my life.
Oh, yeah. With the
It was taking steroids or
yeah.
something. It's just, why did you care? Anyway, I don't
Barry
think.
Bonds steroids.
No, it was a white guy. Barry Bonds wasn't white. Now, I don't mean to make it all so crazy. I think what I'm doing, I'm talking out of emotion because I'm very hurt by.
What's his face?
Well, you're very passionate about it.
I'm very passionate because I can't stand to think of.
But
Like I've always said, I would rather that these
lighting.
parents come up and punch me in the face, punch me in the gut, starve me, do whatever. You do this to a baby, they don't have any, they got nothing. They got nothing. And not all of them have family, they don't have anything.
the one that's ones that bother me
And it
more,
hurts
even
my heart
than the
so
addicts,
bad.
and which addiction isn't help, but the ones that have the physical abuse that is, I don't know what the answer to that is, because the angry people that live beat their wives, beat their kids, I don't get it.
No, and the thing is, it's a learned behavior. So many of these people, it's generation after generation. I have listened to kids that have literally talked about, when they're going to start, when they get to a certain age, when they can start getting a welfare check and they can get a HUD house or a Section 8 plate, whatever. Because they don't talk about, I'm going to try to do the same job my dad does. This is what they know. I've heard this shit. I have heard it. And having a job is like, what do you mean? Paying full rent somewhere. They're not going to do that.
Well, they, like you say, in generational, but I mean,
because they don't know any different.
but kids could either do that or just the opposite. Matt, there was no way in hell he was ever going to do drugs. I mean, Paulie wasn't around him as much as Matt, but Matt could have went down the same path I did,
Right.
very easily.
Right.
But
And,
he did the opposite.
And again, this is, we've talked about this, how you change the dynamic in your family. And that's really what we just need to do, is just try to encourage and help people do that, I guess. I don't know. I feel like I'm trying to act like I know everything, and I'm telling you right now, I know nothing.
Those things are very helpful to people that need them. And it's unfortunate there are people that take advantage, but there's no system out there that's perfect. And like I said earlier, there's CPS cases that worked, and we just don't know about them because they worked. I mean, in my case, there was no chance that Polly was ever going to show up dead. I don't think. I mean, I wouldn't, not by my hands.
Well, not intentional.
Right. But like you said, So there's so many that maybe there would have been more Gabriel Fernandez's. It had but CPS did get involved.
No, 100% right, Summer, 100%. This one right here, perfect example. Every time she said she wanted help, everybody just jumped up and doted. You want help? Here we are. But she really didn't want help. And that's what you don't know when she got help is when she had to get help and she didn't have a family there because they were done with it. But no, I'm not. I'm definitely not into that. And how did that happen, Frazzle? Wow, you guys. Wow, or otherwise it would have gone into the system, Frazzle. But then again, at least there was somebody there. So you did get there though in 2 days, right? You did get there. You made it happen.
It took a prayer and
think about the families that their parent that they don't have anybody that's any better. When you look at Leilani's mother, I mean, let's all think about it. What if Billy Joe was our mother? Where do we have to go? What do we have?
People need to do what's right.
They absolutely do. We all have a choice. 100%. And, as a rule, like my sister, in case CPS, that changed it because you know what? Children will do that.
I just like to tell people because I just want them to know that it can be done. I have a couple nieces that I try to talk to all the time. Well, I don't so much anymore. I never see them, but I have talked to them. There's nothing nobody can make people get clean. They have to want to, but if they know, sometimes people want to, and they, like you said, overwhelmed. But if they can hear that somebody else did it, maybe it'll help them. I don't know.
Jerry, you're absolutely right. Look at this one said earlier that I would give her the courtesy smile, kinda, and what she called me was a bitch. And that was fine. I didn't care what she called me.
It hurt. It affected me. I would. Some people could look at it like, F her. She's just being a bitch or whatever. I was like, my own sister doesn't even like me. I'm a piece of shit. I definitely beat myself up. I did, but I still used. I wasn't. But you're addicted,
right? But whenever she was faced with losing her son, then it changed. That doesn't happen to everybody. But in this case, CPS came in and made her do what she had to do. Oh, and some people work the system. I've watched it. I have watched it till I want to vomit. Like I said, I have cousins who have lived way better lives and had way more things than I have ever had and never worried a day about shit being paid and have never had a job.
As long as you're doing for them, they're not going to do for themselves.
Right. No, you're 100% right because you know what? That's also how many times when there's no father in the house and people say, oh, a woman can do anything she wants. She can raise a kid. I know she can. I know women can do anything. But whenever you don't have a family dynamic, you don't have that in the house, you don't have mom and dad, then you have a mom working 2 jobs.
And she can't be there.
And she's not there enough. She's not there. Like I told my kids, if I don't know where you're at, then I am your shadow. 100%. We'll have a lot less in life because I'm not going to go to work, because I'm going to go to school with you. You're going to sleep with me because I won't give you up to the streets. That's a damn fact. But if I would, during that, if I had been needed to do that when I was a single mom,
how would you?
What would I have done? I mean, I made $12 an hour and raised my kids with no child support.
Thank goodness they were good kids.
But prior to that, I ruled with the iron fist. That's for damn sure.
That's right, AFIG, right?
AFIG knows full well about that. No, we have to quit pretending that, we went through this thing with, it sounds really stupid, but I remember as a kid that commercial, it really bothers me today. Remember that Angelique commercial? And it was like, I am a woman. I can bring home the bacon, fry it up in a pan.
Yeah.
You don't need a man.
My kids are doing all my Percocets and
This is all awesome, and nobody gives a shit. Well, that's great. Congratulations. You needed a man to get pregnant somehow, but whatever.
And I did change it because I want to choose. That's the thing, is I was going to say the blame game. I have been to meetings and stuff where it's like they tried to convince me that I was the way I was because my mom had died when I was 18, or that my parents divorced. They tried to tell me that, and I was like, no, I had great parents. I've used drugs because I tried them and I liked them. I had never ever blamed it on everybody.
But they did talk you into it at times, because she would say to me, well, I don't have a mom, I don't have a dad. And I was like, who do you think you're talking to? I'm your sister.
Remember ever saying that, but because I would not never blame my parents on.
No.
Now I do say that I got my addictions from my dad, because he had the same type of, drinking and gambling. He had the same type of personality, but it wasn't because he left my mom, and it wasn't because he didn't love me, because he did. So she's absolutely right. It's our own choice. And that's why my oldest son, he made the choice not to be nothing like me, because he was actually 18 when I got clean, and he could have went down a different path. And he's a great father, great husband, not because he saw it when he was little.
And see, Frazzled, how is that helping anybody? And this is how these kids grow up. I do not. My problem, first of all, is I don't think the government should help people. I think we should help people. Help them get out of their situation, not help them maintain a lifestyle.
What helped me with the CPS though was the accountability and stuff. I mean, I was ready. I was tired of that. I was tired of that life.
It's a lot more than that, Top Hats. You know it.
That's why you're ha-ha. I was grateful, and I meant it when I gave them the lifesavers, because I was so grateful. I was tired of it.
Had CPS not taken her child, she would be dead now.
Well, because I just wouldn't have had the I don't know, like I said, the accountability and the calling me out.
No, a consequence.
Yeah, the consequence. Yeah, losing my kid.
Right.
Not getting him back.
Right.
That ripped my heart out.
Exactly. That's what happens. We just can't. There are lots of people on welfare that are good parents. I'm not saying they're not. But if you don't ever make somebody get a damn job, for Pete's sake, if you don't, I used to tell Mr. Snotty this when we first blended our families. Our dryer was a piece of shit. And he would fix it, and he would say, we need a new one. And I said, no, we're not. Not till these kids are gone. Because until you buy your first dryer, you don't have any damn idea. You don't give a shit. I would go to fold his daughter's laundry. I was a control freak. My kids were allowed to do their own laundry. Ever. Don't use my washer. Don't use my nothing.
Because you didn't know where the next one was coming from.
I had to watch power. I had to watch everything. I would go and fold his daughter's clothes, and she had her sheets, her towels, all of her jeans, everything in one load. First of all, nothing here is clean, but secondly, you're ruining the washer and dryer. So I told Mr. Snotty, we will baby that shit until they're gone. You never know until you pay for it with your own damn money what it means to pay for something.
Everything, yeah.
The minute you buy your own washer, you ain't going to be putting all that shit in there. But you ain't going to stop them from doing it until they do.
Mhm. And she's right also about some kids just have it too easy. That's also
They do.
I
You
think
know,
that's what mine
the
don't
top
right now.
hats, you're absolutely right. But you know what else? A whole lot more history there, and you know it. And I don't ever not think about that. You know, I just feel like I want to solve the world's problems, but I know I can't, and I can't fix everything. I'm a fixer. I want to fix shit. But all I can say, when kids are involved, we have got to do better. We have to figure out something. We have to figure out a way. Obviously, it's way better for children to stay with their own parents, no matter what. But if it's not safe for them, it can't be. And
Well, to make the right choices, they kind of it'd be helpful if they saw somebody in their life that made the right choices
Right.
occasionally.
right, what would you actually to think about what you want Leilani to be?
But I met people in my church, kids that have that's the people in the pastor has, that's where they got their influence, just because they saw the right choices and the right
Right.
things.
Right.
Because they weren't seeing them at home. There's a guy, that does its sermons every once in a while at the church that I go to with Juanita sometimes, that he
Oh
gives
my
it all
God,
to
that's
the pastor in his family because he wasn't seeing it at home. But that was a choice, like she's saying. And yep, it's easy sometimes to make the wrong choice, but making
Well, like
of
I
course it's
said,
choice. It's all about choice.
we didn't have heat or cooling in our house.
No, we had a cooler.
I remember getting out of the bathtub, run to the stove or
to get warm. Yeah,
the space heater.
had the oven on. That was our heater.
But we had love.
Lots of love.
There was no way I was better off anywhere else, for sure.
We loved home. When Mom died,
Absolutely.
It was just
That's what I'm saying. That's when I would go stay the night at Evelyn's, I woke up in the middle of the night. So every time I wanted to spend the night, they were like, "No, you won't stay." And I was like, "I will." No, I wouldn't. Every night, I want to go home. I just want to go home.
And when Mom died, you missed that little house, 2-bedroom
Right.
house that we all lived in
with no AC. But when a child when they don't feel that sense of security at home, it doesn't necessarily mean money. It doesn't mean any of those things.
Hmm.
It means a sense of security. And for me to think that of what exactly happened to Quentin, what look on his face when his mother did whatever she did to him.
I'm
When
curious.
that's
I wonder
the
how
person
he did
who
die.
loves you the most.
They still don't know how he died.
Well,
I keep hearing things about drowning. I mean, why do they say that? Keep saying that?
because she made up so much bullshit. This is so okay. Trigger warning. We've been told that, or we've heard rumors that the body was intact. That's a hard way to say that, right?
Well, it's intact.
Well, because it went through how many compressors and
Oh yeah, the compactors.
compactors. Just saying that makes my stomach ill.
I just hope that baby didn't suffer.
He did. The fact that his own mother didn't love him, that you don't feel safe with mom, that's something I could never know. So,
And he probably was crazy about her though.
he looked just like her.
He's a cute kid. That's
He's a
sad.
sweetheart. He's a precious baby. You know what? Where Summer, look at Fig, what she's trying to do to help this situation, and the system is not even letting her. Exactly right. I didn't like working my ass off for nothing either, but you know what? That's what you do.
Top Hat's used that one for a heater too. He said his mom said it was free heat.
I told you guys, Mr. Snotty said, well, we're going to have to go into town and get a hotel or sleep in the vehicle. And I was like, no, we're going to turn the stove off. Good thing you married somebody that is poor and knows what the fuck's up. We're going to go into town.
When they
or we're
were
gonna
up north
die.
and they went up their home and up north and he went out. Yeah, she said Mr. Snotty was like ready to go into town.
But then he decided we didn't need to fix the heat because he's like, I like this up situation. That's worked out great for me.
Yep. It's funny. I'm feeling a little bit bashful tonight. Of course, that's what everything is. They're made to last just long enough for you to pay them off, cars and stuff, and then you got to get a new one. It keeps everybody in business. Get a washboard in a tub, right? Do it like the old days. Oh no, kids have it so easy these days. My son didn't even know how to change a flat tire. I've had changed plenty of flat tires in my day. Yep. I want to do everything for my kids, and then I was so shocked when my oldest son got married and helps his wife around the house and does so many things. I was like, oh my God, he knows how to do that? I guess he was paying attention because he didn't know how to do that with me. Isn't that crazy? He said, catch water in a wash tub and then used it on the garden. Oh yeah, we all hear those stories. Everybody used the same bath water or walk to school in the snow uphill both ways. And I think, I do have some good stories, but it was the further you go back, the harder it was, right? I walked in the snow both ways, and I grew up in a town that never snows in. It's like you were saying, some of this gets past people because these people are very good at what they do. Some of them, remember the show, the mother raised her thinking that she's sick and got all that free stuff. Oh, they just had that show a couple years ago. She kept her daughter in the wheelchair and she got the free house.
Gypsy?
Yeah, Gypsy. What was that show? That's another. Some people are real. Some of these people are so good. Right. Some of these people, though, I know that are drug addicts that are they're so smart. If they could just use it in the right direction, they could. That's why the cops can't keep up with the crooks. They're always coming up with different ways of scamming people. It's crazy, and they could just do something so productive and not illegal with that mind.
Right. No, I get what you're saying, and that's absolutely true. We don't hold anybody accountable. Nobody has to be responsible for their behavior. Nobody has to be held accountable for their behavior. That's a big problem, in my opinion. So we there's a lot going against us these days. There actually is. So with all of these things, I just feel like kids are being left in situations because we're going to probably worry more about You know, if somebody doesn't want to address somebody with whatever acronym they are, or what do you call it? Whatever gender they are, or you know, they're not a gender.
Days.
You know, I just can't. To me, I don't care about any of that. I'm not trying to stop anybody from doing what they want to do, but I can't be bothered with a bunch of bullshit. We have to understand about what's reality. Kids need to eat. What do you think happened during COVID? Kids who the best meal they get every day is at school weren't getting that. CPS wasn't being called because kids weren't at school. You know, these are things, though, these are problems. These are big problems.
But we went to school when teachers love to be teachers and they love kids and they actually got to discipline them. And it was like Dad said, we acted up. He could just down at the cafe down the street, he would see the teachers and they would just tell him there.
Right. Well, everybody knew in town knew.
Well, how are you going to change that? I mean,
no, we can't change all that. I don't know. I don't know the answer. I don't pretend. I just know that it's something that really weighs very heavy on me. You know, you're right.
Yeah.
I'm so thankful because God, I was so nervous that he would not be found. I'm so thankful for that. But wow, how do we just not let this happen? It breaks my heart.
And where's Summer? That's
so
right.
Bad.
A lot of the same things went on, but there just weren't the social media. We didn't know about it. Some crazy stuff went on years ago too.
No, it did. I know.
It was actually more kept.
No, I don't believe it. No, what I do believe is that people do not have. Life itself is not nearly as treasured as it should be. Look what just happened. You know, when we talked about Shanquilla, look what just happened to her. I mean, that is insanity. Maybe that shit happened before, it just wasn't videotaped. I don't know.
And a long time ago, where Summer that stuff went on, they just had to deal. They didn't even deal with it. It was like everybody kept things so, like you're saying, there was no social media, but it actually, the parents, maybe with the mother knew something, and they just didn't do anything because they didn't want the neighbor to know, or they didn't want to make a big deal. We'll just keep this a secret. Kids getting pregnant, and they raise the kid and not want anyone to know that happened.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Those kind of things a long time ago.
Yeah, that's what. So, yeah, I think so. Yeah, everything was kept.
Like everything was great. Yeah, everything was great.
We didn't have that. Like I've told you guys.
Now you just have to tell. Sometimes people make a big deal over something and it blows way up and it's not something. That's sad too. I mean. Remember the PE teacher in Gilbert lost his job over, and all admitted later they were lying, but he lost his wife and his whole family, and they just because they know sometimes that's so the balance there. No, well, Mr. I don't want to say his name, but these girls had reported stuff, and he went through so much. I mean, his wife left him, he lost his job, and then when they finally got to court, the girls, when they had him on the stand, admitted they would just made up the stories. Wow. So much there's
and bullying. There has to be punishment for that, because then you won't do that shit.
You would think. Well, yeah, but after somebody's already lost their family, I mean, I guess there's still that, in your mind, you still wonder if there's going to be that doubt, or maybe it is true. And what is too much?
No, you're right. Malice murder, that is pretty much premeditated or intentional. Yeah. But every sign was there. See, that's my problem, is that every sign was there for that to not.
So she meant to kill him, they're saying.
Yes. Oh, no, she was charged with malice murder.
Wow. So not even accidental.
Yeah.
Well, the fact that the way she handled it is, like you said, well, what should I do? They might think I did it. I'm not going to call anybody. If it's an accident, surely you would call 911.
Oh, me too. Oh, you know I am, Top Hats. I am going to that trial for sure. And if I have a chance to take somebody's, punch somebody's lights out, I'm going to. And I don't have a problem with the police there. I think they did an awesome job. This actually got handled really quickly, in my opinion. Well, I hope you do want to see this through. You're going to have to hang out with me and we're going to do it. No, you know what? And I know you have a case, but see, this is the thing. You know why your case went where it did? Because you did bust down doors. You made shit happen. Not everybody does that. That's the thing. I know you did. I know. Not everybody has that care.
Well, so what's the deal?
Leilani wasn't brought up to know any different. Her and her mom, you know what, you guys, I'm just going to tell you again. I don't know how much truth there is to this, but when I got to that town and I was there on that street by myself early that morning, there were some local people that came up and told me that Leilani and Billy Joe shared the same pimps. So when you and your mom do drugs together and you have the same pimp, this,
Learned behaviors.
those kids did not need to be in that house with either one of them, with any of them.
Now, hopefully, and they're not going to be now.
Well, the Billy Joe's trying to get the other two kids back. What if she does? What if she does?
Sure, I don't think the way that chief sounded on there ain't no way. Yeah. Nobody wanted to have their house marked.
No, it's a beautiful neighborhood. Susan, if you went over there, it's beautiful. You would look around and say, this is a perfect place to raise your kids. And who would think, they acted like people were causing all this trouble for the neighborhood. Those people living there was problems for the neighborhood.
And the neighborhood had reported it.
Yes. And people are afraid of them. They're violent people. That babysitter lives so close to them. It's hard to tell when you're on TV, but when you're there, she's very close to them. That's scary. That woman has raised 2 killers. Have you known that before? In all your fucking dealings, have you known that? No.
What the professor said, and now BJ is taking the responsibility.
Right, she can't. What if they give her those kids back? Because we can say they won't. They gave Harmony to her dad that was squatting.
Well,
how do we know they won't? How do we know they won't?
Who's Bubba?
Bubba's Quentin's dad.
Oh, the other kids have different dads, huh? What about, are their dads involved?
Yes, I did hear this, Jerry. You know what? I did hear this. I heard this whole dramatic horseshit of she was going to put Leilani on the back of the bike when they were in Tybee Island after they did shots and shit the night before. And then this whole, do I need to say the rest?
What was it? Put her on the back of the bike and what?
Let Jesus take the wheel. And
Is that what she said?
Some bullshit like this. You know what? That all makes me sicker than shit. You know what? That's what you should have done. First of all, I can't handle shit like that. Don't tell me you were going to kill yourself. Go ahead and do it, and then we'll see. Then we'll talk.
That's the person that raised
the
two killers.
people who want to tell you they were going to kill themselves are the ones who don't. I have no fucking use for that shit.
She's a hard one.
This is the problem. That woman put a bunch of fish outside, thinking she's funny.
We got all sisters and brothers out. And had raised everybody. Oh, your mom's a.
See, no, and she's done it too.
They grew up in an orphanage. Oh.
She has a big story. Yeah, she has a lot.
Gypsy Rose, that's the one I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, Gypsy Rose.
That's another. I mean, sometimes there's such good cons. I mean, you don't always know. That was one that really fooled a lot of people. It's hard. I started thinking that the daughter even knew long before she admitted to knowing.
Cher should be so ashamed of herself for what she has done with this. First of all, if she gave two shits about Billy Joe, she would tell her to shut the F up.
Too late.
Right.
Have we seen Billy Joe?
Every single thing they have done has been nothing but bullshit. So I don't believe for 1 second she was going to put her on the back of her bike and go and whatever. If you were going to do it, then do it. I don't want to hear sob stories. And that's all you hear. Oh, she's cried every day. Okay, well, of course she should be crying. Her child killed her grandchild. And now you want people to pay you? My ass. I told you guys last night, 100%. I would pay for that child a funeral. I am not giving a cent to that bullshit. They do drugs and they buy banners for Cher. Seriously, where are their priorities?
Yep.
And you think they're worried about, and we're supposed to pretend that she was worried about killing themselves? No, they're not going to do that. Because that might be a okay thing.
Yep.
That might help some. That might save somebody's damn life. I have zero. Yeah, I'm going to get in trouble for shit like this because I have no damn patience for bullshit like that.
You're just showing your passion.
Of course. They have a pill for every damn thing. And then, okay, so this pill's going to help this, but it's also going to cause you to be promiscuous. Have you seen that commercial? You might develop a gambling problem and become promiscuous. So I don't know if you're going to help me out a little bit with my asthma, but it's going to ruin my life. So I'll just go ahead and not breathe. That's what I will do. I'd rather do that.
The voice behind the wall, yeah.
I cannot listen to that shit. I can't look at the purple hair. I cannot. Her and her man are way too weird for me. I don't even care what they're doing. They're weird to me. They make me feel uncomfortable.
The man that she left her kids for?
Yeah. And her dad's in prison for murder.
She's going to fix the world. And she can't come to the United States?
No. She's not going to do jack shit. And do you think Cher cares if Billy Joe was going to be doing whatever on that motorcycle? Cher doesn't give two shits about it. And I don't know what would make anybody think I would give a fuck about her taking her whole damn family out. It's going to save somebody's life. That much I can tell you. I think it's all right.
Side effects are always worse than the issue. Yes.
Of course they are. It's stupid.
The list goes on and on if you take this medication.
You won't have yellow toenails anymore, but your liver's going to be shot. What the fuck? Paint your toenails and don't ruin your liver. What the hell do you want from me? It's nonsense.
Shaky leg syndrome or whatever. Restless leg.
Restless leg. Your leg's going to go flying around, but hey, you won't have a yellow toe. So what the fuck?
Getting that mask.
There is a pill that says that.
I know.
I don't even know what it's going to do for you. I just know that the side effects were like, wow, I'm going to become a freaking,
Well, if it
Gam-
happened to one person, they have to say that.
I'm going to become a
And it might not
gambling
have been
whore. Wow. No, I don't want any of their pills. I don't want anything. That's why I don't. Yeah. And you're going to tell me you came up with some kind of a vaccine in 3 months. Sorry, I'm going to go ahead.
Look at Mr. Stoney.
I'd rather.
Sex at the casino with strangers at the casino.
Well, that's retarded.
I don't. That's it. That's another addiction right there.
Right. Why would you want to take that shit on? Okay. Apparently, I have problems. I don't need to throw that on.
Diarrhea, rash, vomiting, constipation, and the list goes on and on.
Oh my God! If you listen to it,
May cause.
if
But your leg's not going to shake.
if you have this, or this, you might want to not.
Yeah, talk to your physician.
Yeah, I'm really nervous.
Well, that's
about,
why there's so many of those class action lawsuits.
I don't even know it. Have a problem with what this pill is going to help, but I'm already nervous about anybody who might.
Well, everybody diagnoses
Don't
themselves
take
before they even go to the doctor because of all the commercials. I
And
know.
guess what? Swear to God, within 5 years, every commercial is going to be about a class action suit that everybody is suing these people because they were
What is this?
having sex with everyone at the casino.
Give
I
me
don't know. I don't know.
He says, well, hell, give me 2 of those.
Okay, there you go. I started thinking I'm going to pretend I have asthma because that sounds like a really fun thing to do. I've never been promiscuous, but I should. Maybe that pill will help me do something I never done before. Oh my God, that's so funny. Seriously.
Outside.
You're right. I should want it.
It takes it piss on the land. Somebody going to call CPS. That's true too.
Right.
Yeah.
See, you know what? Everybody should have
Little
had.
boys should learn to pee outside once in a while.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. And I can remember telling my son, just pee. And he's like, no, I can't. Yes,
My
you
kid keeps
will.
calling
You damn well will, or I'll whip you.
That kid that got taken away from me keeps calling me. I'm going to see what he wants.
That kid that got taken away from me keeps calling me.
He's almost 20 now. What's up, honey?
Can't lose you. What now?
Okay. You're at 50, so I'm saying you have to be 30. So.
No, and you know what else? You also will become a registered sex offender if you get caught peeing outside. No, see, that's just it, Frazzle. These people, they're not going to take their own lives. They're just going to take somebody else's. They're way too weak, way too selfish. That's the way I feel about it. I don't know. You know, I've had people try to run my life by threatening me that they're going to commit suicide until I finally had to say, God bless America, do it. Quit telling me you're going to do it. Just do it, for piss sake. That's not okay for me to say. I know it, and I feel bad, but I've been put in that position. Quit asking me to help you with that. I can't. Yeah, exactly. How could you drink out of a water hose? Exactly. Yep. My favorite thing in the whole world was to float down the ditch. I loved it. We did it in our jeans, everything. Just jump in, and I loved it. And I would gladly have taken a drink anywhere other than go back in the house. You just want to stay outside. You stayed outside till the lights came on. That's why we ate everything fried food, and we weren't overweight, because we just ran amok. Yeah, it's really bad because I carry on like I have answers and I carry on. I don't mean to be judgmental. I'm not being judgmental. I swear I'm not. It's just something that really hurts me so bad and I don't know what to do, but I want to do something. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Absolutely. Right. Or people that are just mad at somebody and so they're going to, I hear it all the time now. This is a big thing in with YouTubers. They call CPS on each other. Right. Oh my God, it's so true. Yeah, Frazzle, I don't think that she'll do anything to herself because no, she won't. She's gonna do something to a defenseless child. That's what she's gonna do. And those people, the only time they cry is when something's happening to them. When most people would rather go through anything than to have their children go through anything at all. And that's not the case. She sat there and waited to make sure that that dumpster was picked up with her baby in it. Take that on. Take that. Try to let that sit on your gut because that makes me sicker than shit. Oh my God. Top Hat, that's so funny. If my sister was in here right now, she would tell you we used to take a bath at we called it the hot pumps. Yeah. It was like this, it was almost like a hot tub, right, sis?
Yeah, it was all the way apart.
Yeah, it was all bubbly and stuff. And back whenever we would have to haul water, everybody would go over there and one at a time, or, me and my sisters, whatever, would help me when I was little. We'd all take a bath there. It was awesome, actually. When I think back, I'm like, where the hell are hot pumps now?
They would start going there with guys.
Oh, good God, I didn't do that. I never took the promiscuous pill. Right, exactly right. No, you can't let them out of your sight for a second. You cannot. No, my kids were not allowed out of my sight. Yeah, I know, Top Hat. See, this is and so how would any of that ever work out? I don't know, right? What would you do? I still think about that all the time.
Did you eat crab yet, Jackie?
Yeah, that's all for you. I still can't hardly stand that. Top Hats, I really can't. Yeah, it is. It is something I just need to. I can't stand it. I want to vent about it. I am very passionate about it. It's something that bothers me a whole lot. No, you're right, Frazzle. No, that is see, there you go. So the world is watching. And like I've told you guys from the beginning, Quentin belongs to all of us. He's we all have an emotional stake in this. And I don't think that any of us are going to just let this sit. those kid, that woman can't have more kids in her care. We just can't have it. There's so many more we don't know about, and we things should happen to where we should never know about it. We should never ever have known Quentin. Well, that's good, top hats, I guess. So I should shut up, I guess. But it is something. But she's not going to. My sister just said, but she's not going to. No, I can't shut up. I cannot. I told you guys. My shirt. I have a big heart, but this mouth, I can't help it. I can't help it. I just always think to myself, if certain things happen to my kids or my grandkids, I would lose my shit. And I don't behave myself. I don't behave myself, but I take care of my family. That's what you're supposed to do. And I don't really accept when somebody doesn't want to take on that responsibility. You have to.
I've got to eat my crab that she told you guys she was making for me, so I'm gonna step out so I can eat that crab she made for me.
Because I did.
But I do want to say, please like and subscribe if you haven't yet. And if all those people from my job watch tonight, I should have said this earlier because I'm sure they've already checked out. I just want to say that people come in all sizes, all shapes. My sister is very, that's why it's been hard for me too, because she does always do the right thing and she has no patience for people who don't. Thank God I started doing what's right. But it's not because she's mean, but she has a heart of gold, big, big heart. But she has, like she said, it's that mouth. And she just doesn't expect, she really actually wants everyone to do what's right. And I just hope everybody understands it. That's my sister. And this is, no, I'm kidding. No, I actually let people, I give passes to people because when they do what's wrong, because I've done what's wrong and I feel bad for them and stuff. Jackie doesn't have a lot of patience for it.
I don't get.
And I think it's because she's always, when you can see, she sees things more black and white. I see things gray, and I can be talked into anything because I really am a sucker for a sob story. I am, because I've had my own, and I don't believe anybody ever said they want to be a bad parent or they want to be addicted to drugs. I honestly know a lot of addicts that aren't happy, and well, most of them. And I wish that was a pill for that. Wouldn't that be nice? A pill to not be an addict. I'd let my legs shake all day,
See, this is the problem.
And I'd do the diarrhea and the constipation, everything else, if you could cure being an addict. So
Yeah,
anyway, so everybody, when you see me
thing.
tomorrow, just remember I'm still this wonderful, sweet girl.
So if somebody tells this one that they're going to kill themselves, then she's going to drop everything and do whatever she can.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody tells me that, I'm like, well, good luck. Hope it works out for you. Just don't make a mess at my house. That's
we're completely different, but
totally
she did.
different. I have no compassion.
And this is the thing too. Jackie and I
actually have a lot of compassion, but I don't have tolerance.
She is so adamant and strong and hard, and she can't stand it because there she goes. She's crying because this one won't cry. I cry I cry when I'm happy, cry when I'm sad, cry when everything. So she loses patience with me. But every time we get into something and she's been kind of harsh on me, the next day I always tell her, you were right. I knew you were right. Even though I argued with you last night, sometimes it takes a minute to sink in because it's just the way she presented it. Because she's usually always right when she says something, I think. But sometimes it just scares me.
Well, for instance, when we were both younger.
Oh boy, am I going to be embarrassed because there are people from work watching.
Okay, I was 18 and she was a full-grown adult. And one of her friends, stole a motorcycle and decided to run from the cops right to our house. And I said, hey, he needs to go. Take that shit out of here. She's like, no, he did it. He doesn't mean it. He did it. Wasn't trying to. And I was like, I don't give a shit about none of this. That's a stolen motorcycle right here at our house. He needs. I don't care if he's got he crashed it. He's got to drag it bloody. Get it the hell away from me. I don't want any part of it. She's like, no, we got to help him.
And that one time when you walked in and this one guy was there that she knew better. I didn't know him that well, but some guy that was living with me knew him. And Jackie walks in and she's like, oh no. And she's like, she said his name. I'm not going to say it. She's like, come here. They went in the bathroom and they came out and he left. And I was like, what's up? And she goes, because I told him he can't be here. And I'm 6
She
years
just
old.
want to be very tolerant of everybody's bullshit.
I let so many people would stay with me at my house till I would move out because I had nowhere to sleep.
She would move out of her own house because people wouldn't leave. Okay. Yeah, see, I am not that way. You're not even spending the night. Get the hell out right now. Yeah. We have different thoughts about things. Little bit.
That's why I got slipped in with things.
She wants to sympathize with everybody. No, I do not have a filter whatsoever. I don't. I can't. I cannot. Right? She let nonsense go on all the time. And then she'd be like, well, I let so-and-so borrow my car. And I'm like, good. Are you shitting me? What is wrong with, I cannot. I can't. No. I don't do that. Watch for yelling. Oh my God. Yeah, we got off in the weeds here. Sounds like the Bee Gees. Oh my God. Right. If I think it, it just comes out my mouth. Well, actually, no, that's that one. Yeah. She says shit. She tells everybody her story. We go to get a pedicure, and she tells the people at the nail salon that she was a junkie. It's not, why? It's not everybody's business. Yeah, we have a pretty boring life, but there's a lot of background noise that I have to ignore. She just believes everything everybody tells her. And I'm apt to not believe anybody. That she did that. She literally did that. She left her own home and left because other people were living there and she didn't know how to get rid of them. And I was like 16 and I went and kicked him out of her house. Like, are you shitting me? No, it's not allowed. Now, Frazzle, this is an issue with right next door. See how, and there's actually probably what can actually be done about that. Yeah, Mr. Snotty has a ringside seat to this service. On a 51, I don't know if I understand. Wait, my son lets people stay. No, see, and that's really awesome, Texas, because I do think people need a help, a handout. I do. I want to help everybody. I do very much. But you can't just let anybody take over your home. Don't let him in the first place. I don't understand 5150. I don't get it, Frazzled. I'm very confused. No, I can tell you right now, when I go to bed at night, this door is locked. If I think you're staying the night, that's fine. You ain't just coming and going from my place. It's not happening. Oh my God, that's so funny. Yeah, that's exactly right. Like, how are we so different? Oh my God, that's funny. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's, you know what? Even when we were really young, I used to tell on her for everything. I would go through her purse and tell on her for everything. Uh, yeah, I love her to pieces, and I'm so happy that she's not a drug addict now, that she got her shit together, because then I can have her back. And we will fuss, and then we get over it. And just like tonight, she was late, and I was like, not even going to talk to her. I think I am. I think so. I don't know. There was things I wanted to talk about that I felt like we missed from the press conference the other night. And so I kind of wanted to go over that. What do you guys think? I did kind of want to go over some of that stuff. Oh, yeah, I like to have havoc, I guess. I'm a no nonsense. I'm very no nonsense. I say what I mean what I say, and that's really what I want everybody to do. So all this hubbub doesn't work for me. So yeah, I think we will, if you guys want to. Oh, oh yes. Well, what? Maybe we'll wait because I don't know if anybody. I think everybody's going to be pretty busy. Mr. Snotty did make some mashed potatoes tonight already for. You like that also? Oh, oh my God. I thought you said your son, and I was like, okay, hold on a second. Oh, really? 6 years? Oh, how awesome. I think we have talked a little bit about that before. Yes, he's going to go to his ex-wife's house, his son's mother's house, and cook for her and her husband and his son. That's so awesome. Oh, wow. That is super awesome that you're doing that. That is really cool. So we might just come on tomorrow night just for a little bit of fun and see if anybody's here to hang out with. If not, I don't have anything necessarily planned. I know that's one thing I wanted to talk about at some point. You see, we're going to do something. Yeah, well, you obviously know that. That is super cool for you to do that, though. Yeah, we're just cooking a breast. Oh, wow. You know, I find I don't want any more leftovers. We're really cutting back because we always have so many leftovers. I don't want them because I cook for one person every night, so I always have leftovers, which is nice. We're gonna go up to our property this weekend, and I have enough meals prepared, but I just get tired of so many leftovers. I think we have turkey in the freezer from last year. I can't do it anymore. Oh, that's so awesome. Thanks so much, Texas Life, for hanging out. I appreciate it. Yep, I do too. We used to buy those styrofoam things like that you get at a restaurant. We used to get all those. We used to buy those and just send everybody home with a bunch of stuff. Now I just don't want it. It's so much of a to deal with. Yep. Oh, that's hilarious. That's funny. I know that my sister that's here tonight, she always, every time she comes over, she's like, I know you have enchiladas in the freezer. I want some. And I actually always do. Right. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I am not having leftovers anymore. I just literally want to. But we do have a neighbor that is single, and Mr. Snotty says he sees somebody over there sometimes. I don't ever see anybody there. So I think I'm going to start taking food over to him. He does feed homeless animal dogs. That's something he does. So we do give him stuff for dogs. I think we're going to start giving them food though too. Oh my gosh. Oh, that is so awesome. Where's Summer? Wow. Wow. Somehow I'm not that surprised though. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. Shut up. Yep. Yep. That's exactly what happened here. That's for sure. I was not a nice person. I'm still not nice to her all the time. Even tonight, she's like, I feel like I'm in trouble. And I'm like, bye. That means yes, you are. Oh no, she's not going to. Um, they already said that she would not get bond. No, she's not going to get out, and not for her charges. Mm-mm. And not only that, like they can't. Well, they probably actually can. I guess those kind of people can pull shit out of their ass because they'll give up their homes and whatever. I don't know, but no, she's not going to get bond at all. Even in today's world of no cash bond. Oh my God, I love cornbread. I love my cornbread. I could have it every day. That is super awesome. That is so good for everybody. Sometimes you just realize that that's not, you obviously love somebody at one time. Doesn't mean you hate them, but you just don't get along. And so, wait, I'm confused now. Who are you talking about, Top Hats? Oh, okay, Frazzled. So that's good though, right? Are you happy about that? Oh my God, that's a lot for summer. No, she surely, I hope not. I'm going to do everything I can to make sure she doesn't. I'm not going to drop that. You can't give that woman any more children. That can't happen. Wow, that's awesome, Frazzle. Yeah, surely she's not. My God, you're gonna throw dessert on it too, Summer? Good God. Right? That's what I'm saying, Frazzle. That's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah, surely she's not. I love chocolate pie. Mm-mm-mm. I love chocolate. Yeah, that sounds awesome, doesn't it? Yeah, Frazzles. I don't even know about that. I actually love ravioli. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I love fall. Fall is my favorite time of the year. I love Christmas too, though. Mr. Snotty's turkey is really juicy, really good, wrapped in bacon. And I got to give it to him. Oh, okay. See, I always say I'm going to do something with the leftover turkey, and then I never do. So I just don't want it anymore. Like ravioli. My favorite thing is turkey and cranberry sauce on a roll. That is actually all I want. Yep, absolutely top hats. 100%. Bacon, bacon, and more bacon. And butter. I love butter on everything. I actually will put butter just on a cracker. I just love butter. No, I don't think he had. I think I told you guys the other night. Every time I've had jambalaya or gumbo, it wasn't good. Oh, yes, absolutely. Lita live. Yeah, of course. Yes, please do. Yeah, I think you're new here, so welcome. Yeah, I bet, Faza. It's probably a lot of work. What? Who are you, Lita? I don't know. I did enjoy meeting them, but what is this all about? Oh, wow. Yeah, we don't. Yeah, I don't think she's pregnant. Yeah, I think that that was kind of a, yeah, right. I think it's because of the wish list they had made, which I don't get, but That made people think that she might be pregnant. Hmm. When the sub told about, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't understand. Yep, me too. Top hats for sure. Want to do everything with bacon, bacon, bacon. Like that commercial with the dogs, right? Bacon, bacon, bacon. Well, you might want to call it for tonight. I'm actually dying to get this hat off my head. I like it, but oh my God. I do, you're right. I do love stuffing. Yeah. But I really super love turkey, cranberry, and on a roll. That is like that is what I can't wait to have. But stuffing is so good. I do love stuffing. The lady that does the house inspections, what was it called? Yeah, we need to get to bed too. Got the baby early in the morning. Well, thank you everybody for being here. I call it dressing too. Stuffing, dressing, same thing to me. Yeah, because you know what? I think my granny called it dressing.
Something about the rate of house. I don't even know what she's talking about.
I do. Don't. She said. Okay, if I don't talk to you guys before Thanksgiving, have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and I appreciate you guys so much. And I'll pop on tomorrow sometime with something, hopefully. But everybody have a great night, and I appreciate you more than anything. And I will talk to you soon.